Good evening and welcome to EGI2 Stream 7. I'm your host, Robbie Rackleff, and I'm so glad that everyone's here tonight, that we're all together for this most important of nights. That we're about halfway through the contract that we have written, that we signed with Twitch. And so there's a lot to reflect on, a lot to look back on, and hopefully a lot to look forward to. With me, as always, is Allan Resnick, our EGI2's most auspicious correspondent and man on the street.
Hi, everybody.
Allan, what's been happening with you? What'd you do this weekend?
I went on to Twitch. I went on to twitch.tv .tv/EGI_2, and I watched back all the old episodes of EGI2, not EGI1, but EGI2, just to see what was working, what wasn't working, and where we could improve.
Okay.
Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Allan. And what do you think that we're doing wrong here?
I don't think we're doing anything wrong. I actually think the show's quite good. It's incredibly energetic and fun to watch. I think it is potentially off-putting to new viewers who have never seen EGI1 or EGI2 because of the level of the things you say, the way you say the things. You say these things that are so intelligent. I feel like it's like drinking milk. It's like drinking milk. The words you say are so smart. It's nourishment like mother's milk.
Right.
But I think it's for the uninitiated. There's some people who are lactose intolerant,
right, and
they need formula. So I guess if I had a note, it would be to maybe simplify, catch new people up, and more. I really enjoyed when there was an appearance from a cat.
Right.
And so I have added Sam's cat food to this set, and I've punched a couple more holes with the hopes that maybe another cat could come in.
Okay.
Back to you, Robbie.
So back to you, Allan, and thank you for that thoughtful criticism of the show so far. And I want to throw something back to you, Allan, which is that you mentioned the idea of the milk, the mother's milk that EGI2 is offering, making us the mothers, Allan, I always pictured perhaps that the milk was coming from above, that the milk, that we were the receivers of the milk, Allan, that we were there might be what's the word for the receivers of the milk, Allan?
Baby.
Right. So my thinking is that perhaps we're the babies, and the milk is EGI2. The milk is games that take place that were published between 2002 2011. The culture that we've been studying and analyzing for the last couple of months, about a month and a half, a little over a month and a half at this point, I think, Allan. And so when I think of the milk, I think we don't make the milk. We're the babies drinking all we're drinking like the little drips of the milk from the source of the milk, which is games published and released between 2002 and 2011 from mommy.
Old games are mommy. We're baby, milky, and the milk. But what I don't understand is I get the milk from you, from what you say.
Right.
Because I'm not playing I'm not playing old games, but I'm hearing what you say, and I'm getting the mother's milk. This is my ear, but that's how I get the milk.
Right.
But I do drink it from my ear, and so in a way I feel like you're mommy. Or
right.
Maybe.
So mommy's milky. I'm mama's milky baby. I'm the baby getting the milk. Baby gets the milk, but baby shares the milk with little baby. I'm big baby.
You're you're my big brother.
Right.
And you've given mother is the games that you've played. She's given you milk.
Well, I haven't been able to play all the games that she released between 2002 2011. I'm not Christ.
No, you're not baby Christ, but your big brother, Allan's big brother. You're my big brother. The games.
Bombastic. I went away. Somebody subscribed with Prime. Thank you for the
Thank you so
sub.
much.
We do have a great show for you this evening. Lots of milk to drink for
Robbie,
the baby. What's going
a
on?
hype train.
Oh, the hype train is starting. If you're new to EGI2, every time there is a hype train started on EGI2, we take a pause from our regularly scheduled program talking about Mommy and the Milk, and we instead I will tell a story. So welcome to Robbie's Stories here on EGI2. Allan, this is a wonderful evening. It's a rainy evening in Los Angeles in the City of Angels. All the angels are damp and sad, and they stroll down the streets like cockroaches that have been with their back legs broken. And in the city that we are in, the wet city, and it reminds me of other wet cities, Allan. Other wet cities.
Is this the story? Tell
yes,
the story.
This is the beginning of the story. The story is the story of the wet city, and the wet city wasn't wet with water. It wasn't wet with what we were talking about earlier, which was of course Mommy's milk. It was in fact wet with oil, and not the crude oil, not the black stuff, the black gold that has powered so many machineries and war and all this, but the old school stuff, Allan, the glistening stuff, the stuff that we used to rub on our bodies and show each other off with.
Rubbing oil.
Yes, so if you go back to the old stories, if you go back to the old books and scrolls, you always find people are dipping oil and rubbing them on each other and oiling up.
We got a hype train level 2.
Hype train level 2.
The story continues.
So the story, and so this was about the city that was the king of the city was looking for a way, and his name was a long name. It was Archimedon. Archimedon Fall Gallon. Archimedon Fall Gallon, King Archimedon Fall Gallon, Orcanoid. And so King Archimedon Orcanoid was speaking one day. He came back from a trip abroad, and he found his closest advisor. And of course, his closest advisor was one of those eunuchs, Allan. And I don't need to tell you about the eunuchs, but Allan, the eunuch was one of those people that, because he lacked let's say distractions of the time, that he was able to the eunuch.
No, the king.
No, the king Archimedon Fall Gallon Orcanoid was always looking for ways to distinguish himself from the kingdom next door, which was of course run by King Troll, King Troll, and he got that name because he was one of those. He was a troll, and he was the king of the trolls, and his kingdom was always dusty and dry, and everybody there had kind of powdery lips, and they were always coughing, and he said, we're so close to that kingdom, and I never want to be seen. I never want to be mistaken.
Is the hype train still going?
Is the hype train still going, or is it over?
How can we tell?
Is it?
Sound off in the chat if the hype train is still going. It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell, but it's over. So the story it's back.
There's
So the King Orcanoid was able to say, what makes us what makes you so beautiful?
A hype train level 3. The story continues for four or 5 more minutes.
And the eunuch, whose name, the eunuch, who's oddly his name was Mel Gibson, and Mel Gibson was a different.
What a coincidence.
It was odd, but he said the way that I am is because every morning I get up, and my servants, because he was a court eunuch, so he had his own sort of retinue.
It's a high up eunuch.
And he said they rubbed the oil on my body, and I look great.
About.
And the king said, you do look great. And what if we could make the thing that makes you look so yummy and good? What if we could do that to the whole of the kingdom and make it shine like the way that the skin shines when the old school stuff is rubbed on it. So the eunuch, whose name was Mel Gibson, went out into the wide, wide world and found himself on a long, long road into discovering where the source of that oil, because he would get the little vials. You know, he would go to the market in the souk, and he would get the little vials, and he would place them in. He had a little rack in his room, and the rack had different colors and different scents, and everything was very organized because he had so much time because he wasn't distracted by the things that a lot of other people were distracted at that time. And I'm not, I think we all know what I'm talking about. And so the king went, the eunuch went on the long road, and he stopped in an old yurt, and he stopped at the old yurt at the crossroads where the demon lived. And the demon was
in the story.
You know, back then in the prehistory times, in the time of the kings, King Arkanoid and the others, there was people respected demons. They were just part of the community at large. Not necessarily, they didn't live in the cities, they didn't live within the walls of the castle, but they were considered a valuable
Robbie, we got
resource.
a hype train level before the story continues for another 4 or 5 minutes. Yay! Back to you, Robbie. Tell the story.
So the so the eunuch goes up to the demon and he says, I'm on a quest for the king, because the king whose name is Archimedon Falagalan Orkanoid wants to make the whole kingdom glisten like
oil,
yummy oil skin. He wants to make the kingdom look nice and yummy for people to get, smack their lips and feel like it's yummy, and they want to chew on the buildings, and they want to stand out, because the troll kingdom is dusty, and the human king wants to be nice and shiny and yummy.
Yes, of course.
So the demon said, I'll make a deal with you, eunuch Mel Gibson. I will send you on the correct path to the well of oil that is looked over by the oil elemental.
Okay.
But the thing is that
oil elemental
is that you are gonna want to get in trouble with this creature, because they are the nicest looking thing you'd ever laid your eyes on.
What do you mean they want to get in trouble? What do you mean?
I think the demon would have been saying at the time, and this is probably part of the sort of the mythology of the time, and part of the, let's say, the moral that's coming is that even the eunuch would want to try something.
The oil elemental is so attractive, for lack of a better word, that even a eunuch would have desire.
Of course. And Mel Gibson said to the demon, "It's not a problem. I've been dealt with, and I've made a quite an interesting life, despite the fact that I know that I'll never, despite never having tried any of that crazy stuff." So the demon says, "I'll make you a deal. If you get there, you get a good contract going, you get the supply chain you need, you bring the oil back to the city, you get the thing, you coat the whole thing till it's shiny and yummy, then without touching the oil elemental, then I'll give you maybe a third, maybe a third arm. So you'll be able to not only." And this is a great idea, because the eunuch has spent so much time organizing and thinking, and he's got all of his shelves with all of his little tinctures and studies, and
2 more minutes on the hype train.
There's only so many hours of the day for him to get everything that he needs to get done, or them, I suppose.
But Mel Gibson is supposed to not touch a very beautiful oil element.
Yes.
Otherwise, no extra arm.
So they sign the contract. He signs the contract with the demon, which, by the way, not supposed to do. Generally speaking. Well, we know that now, but back then there was a little bit more of a gray area. But they moved on. He signed the contract to move on. The demon gives him one last shot. He says, "Listen, Mel, I got to tell you, I think you're about to get yourself into a bad situation, and I'm going to give you one last chance to cut and go and figure out something else for yourself. Because there's other ways. There's other ways to get to make the king, to make everyone like the want to get. Yeah, there's other ways to make the king, all the buildings look yummy.
But this is the only way to get the extra
exactly.
arm.
So, but this is
one more minute.
Mel says, and Mel Gibson says, this is the. I got to do this fast. I got to get back. I have my own life that I need to get back to. This is a quest, and quests have. The old story. They say every story has a beginning.
Yes.
And that was he said this story also has to have an end. So.
But it's not over yet because you just got a hype train. Next
Okay,
level of the
so
hype train. 5 more minutes of the Mel Gibson Unix story.
I think
and
people
the
know where
demon
this is going. They're excited to hear the conclusion of this incredibly
Yay.
old tale. This is one of those old stories that you
I want to hear how it
passed
goes.
down from the generations to generations. So Mel goes along. He signs the contract. The demon. He said, and of course the demon says, and if you get into the business with this thing, then I get to, I'll cut you up. I'll beat your ass. I'll break all the bones in your body and send you to the hospital.
The demon said to Mel Gibson, if you get into business with the oil elemental, I'm gonna get your ass.
Yes, and demon says, and this isn't. I got nothing against you. I got nothing against what you're trying to do, and even I don't have anything. I mean, everybody that comes near this oil elemental, it's a spirit, it's a creature.
An elemental.
They go nuts and they touch it all over the place, and I can't blame them for that. But I also am who I am, and so when I see it happen, I go nuts. And I can't. These fists are separate entities from these fists.
Yes,
are two different people from who I am as a person, demon person. But these are two separate. The
demon has two separate people.
Yeah. So this one is the right ass beater, and this one is the left knuckle sandwich.
But the demon is telling Mel Gibson this as like, hey, if you want an extra arm, this
and
is
Mel
how
Gibson
you get
is just trying to get out of here because he's trying to get the oil.
But he wants the extra. Mel Gibson wants the extra, and not the actor Mel Gibson. This is a eunuch.
This is a eunuch
wants the extra arm.
This is pre-history, Allan. This is all handed down from mothers, from mommies to babies, and from daddies and mommies and daddies to babies.
3 more minutes to finish.
3 more minutes until the story must come to its conclusion. So
unless a hype train happens, and then the
Mel
story
Gibson,
will continue.
Mel Gibson is not having any of the advice that the demon is trying to give him. He takes the map because it was the map the demon was offering. I forgot to mention the map. So the demon sorrowfully watches him go away, sits back down in the yurt.
But the demon wants to beat his ass. The demon wants him to do it so he can beat his ass.
Lifts his fists up into the air and says to himself,
he's talking to the fist.
He says, Be kind to Mel Gibson, because he doesn't know what he's getting himself into. Ass beater, knuckle sandwich. You guys are like family to me, and it matters to me what you think. So if you see a way out of this mess, because I think this is going to be a big mess, and everyone's going to get a little bit
2 more minutes
hurt, then talk to me. And then of course the hands do the thing. They turn into yapping, flapping mouths, and they say to the demon, whose name is
the demon. I don't know if you. I don't remember.
They
sound off in the chat if you know the name of the demon.
The ass beater says, you don't get to decide who lives, who dies. You don't get to decide who walks away with all of their ribs unbroken, or it doesn't matter. Moving on to the hands also talk is the point, and that comes back at the end of the story. So
I can't wait. I hope we get to the end of the story. Please keep the train going.
So long day ahead.
Yes.
And then a long night.
One more minute to complete the hype train.
We all have and he sleeps in. He goes to the newest, nicest hotel he can find along the road, which turns out to be not very nice. because it's run by
Robbie!
bandits.
Robbie, someone
It's
get
run
the
by-
hype train
it's-
continues. I think it's people give money, and I think it's I think it's like a charity that just helps us.
Okay, so
Keep
Mel
going, keep
Gibson's at the hotel. He's at the roadside hotel.
Roadside Hotel.
He doesn't know that that's run by bandits, and the bandits
Really?
are also bats. They're bat bandits.
Bat people?
They're
or just
bat
like
people.
bat-sized
So they're
bats?
So if you think about the old classic Batman character,
Of course.
and I had always a theory about of the who is that?
Bruce Wayne.
Right. So the bat people are they live in the hotel. They live in the ceilings. But in the afternoon, there's a window of time in the afternoons when they become human size, come back down, and they kind of always they kind of hunch in the corners there.
Like
You've seen it happen.
they're
You've seen
hanging
you've seen
chill.
people act like that. They're a little cool for school.
Like,
but the eunuch,
I'm a
but Mel Gibson, the eunuch, is of course also feeling a little bit proud because he works for the king and he's got he's got all of his collections and everything's organized. And
You say they're like the Batman? Are they dressed like? Are they men in Batman costumes?
No, they look
or
like
bat
they look
people?
like they got big cloaks on.
Because
wings.
they have like a bat face and fleshy wings.
Well, you can't really see their face because they're kind of they're hunched over. They're kind of all angled. They're angled into the shadows a little bit. So they were on first glance, in first encounters there.
Yes.
They seemed perfectly fine. They seemed like feasible people that might be running a hotel in the middle of nowhere.
Got it.
In between where the kingdom, the king,
Crazy.
in between the kingdom and the lair of the apparently what is, I mean, let's just be honest. Let's put it on the table there. The sexiest creature there ever was.
The oil element.
The oil element. And again, if you're just joining us, we're not talking about crude oil. We're talking about the clear stuff that people rub on their skin to make
Like a
them
coconut
look
oil
nice,
or shea oil.
Exactly, to make them look nice and
Baby oil.
yeah, maybe baby oil, castor oil, something to
oil.
make you look yummy and you want to take a bite out of that. So we are dearly wondering because these are also bats, as we all know, love to eat trash.
Yes.
So they love to eat, but they also love to eat. They love to eat rats and mice. And the eunuch had a mouse with him.
The eunuch was carrying a mouse.
He always carried a mouse wherever he goes. The mouse was named
Oh, the mouse.
Townsend. So Townsend the mouse. He let Townsend the mouse, and Townsend was an old guy,
Pete.
just very old, just very practically on death's door.
No. Okay.
And Townsend looks.
2 more minutes
Townsend
to tell the story?
takes a knee when he gets into the hotel room. Everyone's getting ready for bed. Townsend looks at Mel Gibson and says,
The mouse talks.
He says the mouse talks, and he says, Mel,
This is crazy.
this is. You've done a lot of. I've seen you do some pretty sensible things, and I've seen you do some pretty foolish things.
Just
but
like a
this
real Mel
is
Gibson.
nuts.
Right.
Not only have you put us in the situation where you're gonna get creamed, son, and I'm not gonna be here. I can't put up a fight. I used to be able to. I used to be one of those mice that would run up on people's arms and bite their nose and their ears and claw at their face until they kind of fall off a cliff or something like that.
Yes.
But I'm old. Mel says, yeah, well, we're all old, but at least we do the thing. But at least our lives are interesting, and we've always had each other, and we look out for one another. And let's just have a nap, and we'll wake up and make the rest of the journey. Well, wouldn't you know it, the bat people turn into bats in the middle of the night, flood the room
Oh my God.
with bats. Turn into
wow.
bats, just fly into Mel
bats,
Gibson's
and
place.
They flood the room with bats. One more minute to complete the hype
and
train and hear the rest of the
ate
story.
Townsend.
They ate the mouse.
So they took away his best friend,
Shit.
and
Fuck.
perhaps the only person who
Shoot.
could have kept him out of trouble when this
I
situation
hate that.
turned its head.
Damn.
And so the funeral
40 seconds to complete the hype train and hear the rest of this incredible story with the oil elemental and see if he had sex with the oil elemental, even though he's a eunuch. Back to you.
But
And he'll get that extra arm.
so he goes to the funeral for Townsend. It's a sad time. The priest is there. The priest gives the eulogy. Hands him,
20 seconds.
sprinkles, and he can't think of anything except about how sad he is because he thinks about all the adventures that him and Townsend had on the road, on the many
Robbie!
roads, on the many.
The hype train is continuing. People are giving us even more money.
So-
they love the story. They love you, Robbie. They want to hear the rest of the
They
story.
want to hear 5 more minutes
5 more minutes
once
to tell
you
the
know
story. Oh my God.
he forgets what he's doing. So until the priest says we're going to make it a little bit easier for you. I mean, no, the priest doesn't say no. No one says it's going to be easy. The priest starts to do the ritual. He sprinkles a little bit of oil on the little mouse's grave, which is like a little, nice little made up thing for a little friendly mouse that talks. He got and that snaps Mel Gibson back into the game. He says, "Where'd you get that oil?" And he says, "Up this mountain here, up by these rocks that look like
oil element.
If you took, and this is where it all ties together.
Yeah.
Because if you look at those rocks, they look about the size of Ford Fairmonts turned on their sides.
They look the size of what?
Ford Fairmonts, the old Ford, the sort of old family car.
When does this story take place?
This takes place. No, I'm saying the rocks look like the Ford Fairmonts on their side.
Did they have cars in the story?
No, but I'm saying
you're
trying
just
to give
saying that
everybody.
For us.
If you've seen a Ford Fairmont, you
I
know
see.
these things are big, they're flat, they're wide, they're sizable.
But
So if you see a whole forest of these rocks that are the size of Ford Fairmonts standing on their sides,
I'm just saying this isn't the kind of reference that they would have in this time period.
it's a classic car.
It's helping me visualize it, but I'm just saying for the sake of the story.
But
Continue.
it's big, the
3
rocks,
minutes and
he says,
30 seconds. 3 minutes and 30 seconds to
And
continue
who does he
the
come
story.
across? So
And
he
get
goes.
that
So
pipe
whatever. The priest says it's up there. But you watch yourself because
Oh my God.
because the being that guards the oil, we call it the
There's a guard.
we call it cord. We call that thing. We call it a lot of different things, but
The guard.
mostly the thing that we call it is trouble, because people go there and they get dirty. If you catch my drift. And I'm
I
a
don't.
priest, and people come to me with their problems, and they tell me what they did up there
Is
with
the
that
priest
thing.
the guard?
The priest has got nothing to do with what's
the
happening.
priest has some oil.
Except he's just giving Mel Gibson another way out before situations arise.
But did the priest have the oil for the mass grave?
The priest
For
he got the oil from the elemental.
So what was the priest? What did the priest do?
Didn't. Well, he probably got it from one of his people's.
But the priest had no interactions with the oil elemental.
No, because
priests are not supposed to.
the priest is also a celibate fella.
So is the eunuch.
So he's getting it from other hunters and
Two more
people.
minutes, two more minutes.
Just kind of perverts that go up
2
there
minutes.
and
then they give the priest a little oil.
They said, well, we feel bad because we did all sorts of crazy stuff up
Shame.
there with this wild thing.
They did. Okay.
And so they
really
confess. But here's some nice oil that you can put on our graves when we die, to make sure that we don't end up
That makes
being.
sense.
If you put the oil on the body,
I follow.
you don't get put back into the oil. You catch me?
Yes, of course.
Because
That makes total sense.
people that are wrong and people that do bad end up getting sucked into the well and turned into oil.
And when did they get the extra arm?
He gets the extra arm if he can get through this whole process, this whole
temptation.
commercial exchange
Without giving in to sin.
without buddy.
Well, our hype train is getting close. We have 1 more minute, and then the story will continue. Someone gave us a lot of bits or bites or something.
Thanks for the bits and the bites, but honestly, the thing that's most concerning me is that Mel Gibson is about to go into the place of the Jagged Rocks place.
This is the most exciting part of the story.
Where
we
he
have 1 more
meets-
minute. Oh, okay.
Where he meets Dishy, Dashy, and Casty.
What? It's a tie-in?
It's a tie-in.
It disconnects
Because
to the
those
other
kids
story.
had been up there looking for rocks and roots.
Right.
Remember, 1 pocket for rocks, 1 pocket for roots. Dishy, Dashy, and Casty
Robbie!
are part of the
Robbie!
story.
Robbie,
Robbie,
we did it. You got the next level of the hype train. The story continues for another 4 or 5 more minutes.
So Dishy, Dashy,
You're
and
gonna
Casty,
find out what happens to Dishy Dashy and
they
Mel
see
Gibson.
Mel Gibson coming up the way there. But here's the thing, and this is what people don't. This is where the story gets nuts, and this is where because we talked a little bit about them the last time there was a story, but it turns out they got stuck up there.
All-time record high
So
shattered.
they got
shattered.
stuck up.
The story's so good. You're boosting the numbers. Keep
They
going.
got stuck up there because they got lost, and now they're all old and crazy.
So the characters from your other story have gotten lost in this story and become old and crazy.
Yes. So they're
Wow.
old and crazy and dangerous.
This is incredible.
So this is a twist.
I'm actually shaking. If you can see, my hand
And-
is shaking.
Ooh, and so Dishy and Dashy and Cassidy attack Mel Gibson.
What?
Knives, because they've been this is what people forget about the story is that they've been up there with these rocks.
4 more
And
minutes.
they've been carving knives, Allan. They've been carving big ass knives.
Dishy Dashy and
Yeah, big ass knives, sharp as hell, made out of rock, polished
Rock
with the
knife.
oil. So you can imagine they're dipping the knives in the oil. They're probably getting into other situations.
Oh my god.
But they still got the rocks and the roots, so they're way down. They've been crazy for so long. They've been filling their pockets with roots and rocks and chewing on the roots and just kind of gnawing on the rocks, I suppose, for sustenance. And in between their bouts of madness, they go and they visit the oil elemental. It's a sad story what happened to those kids. I mean, really
But
tragic.
You just tell the story. Don't tell that story.
Okay, I mean it's all part of this. It's all part of the whole mythos. But
Okay.
you can't. It's like you can't have Moses without knowing the story of the king
But okay, go on.
or the pharaoh.
Well, tell your
Anyway.
story.
So they set upon Mel Gibson, but Mel Gibson is
Not the actor.
He's not an actor, but he's strong and he's wiry because he hasn't wasted a lot of time lounging around waiting for people to come and take care of him. He's been active. He's fit. He eats well.
Wow.
He's in the king's court. His people help to keep him. His physical fitness is. I'm saying he fights back, and he kills Dishy Dashy and Cassidy.
No.
And
What?
and
Oh my god.
and
Why?
and in the process, he
Oh my
loses
God.
his way, and he gets lost in the place of the jagged rocks.
Jesus Christ.
So in the place of the jagged rocks,
Wow.
he finds himself getting hungrier and tired, and he lays down and he drinks. It rains a little bit, so he gets some water here and there, but he gets hungrier and hungrier still.
Oh my god.
And he goes and he realizes that he's been walking in circles, and he goes and he sees the bodies of Dishy Dashy and Cassidy,
They're dead bodies.
dead bodies,
My hand is still shaking.
wet with blood and
what-
meat.
Oh my god.
I mean,
There's meat.
they're not well fed, but they're not nothing.
Right. Oh my god.
And they got all these, and then they're packaged, and then
1
they're
minute and 30 seconds
and
to get to the next level. We only need a little bit more, and we'll have an all-time high. Just a little bit more, and then the story will continue, and we'll hear more. Back to you, Robbie.
so they were eating their roots, and so the meat has got a taste to it that is unique.
What do you mean?
He starts eating them, and he says to himself, "This is different. This is not like cows or goats
He's
or
eating the
sheep."
Dishy Dashy and Cassie?
Yes, but their bodies are so
my
moist
God.
because they've been chewing on, and they've been all their saliva. It's like the oil and the saliva
Right.
and the roots and the rocks are. Rocks can be salt. Rocks can be all sorts of things.
Oh my
Rocks
God.
can be lead. People used to put lead on their food to keep
Yeah.
things
Robbie!
yummy and
Robbie!
yummy and
Robbie, they did it. Like, thank you so much, everyone in the chat, for doing the all-time high. This is the highest level of hype train we've ever had. This is the most money. I think it's enough money that we'll get to hear the rest of the story, and maybe Robbie will share some of the money with me.
So
5 more minutes.
he eats them.
Whoa.
And this is where he over the course of several weeks he gets lost. He tries to get to the time is passing.
We already have 70%
Time
of
is
this hype train.
time is passing. He's trying to figure out what he wants, what he needs, and he's getting lost. He's coming back. He's eating another piece of these kids. I mean,
He's
not
eating
kids. They're adults now.
adults.
They're,
So
nobody's
none of that.
kids are being
None of
eaten.
that. He's eating.
Yeah.
You can eat. He's
No,
eating
it's
adults.
all pretty PG-13, but
he is eating.
But he
it
is slowly
feeding
eating
people.
them over time. He doesn't even realize how much time is going past. And then one night he goes to sleep and he wakes up,
One night.
and guess what?
What?
He's got his stuff back.
What do you mean?
He's got the stuff back.
What does he have back?
The things. They grew back.
Wait, what things?
The whole thing.
Oh,
It's back.
Robbie, are you
And
talking
it's healthy, and it's gonna work.
You're talking about the unit.
talking no more.
He's not a eunuch anymore.
No, he's different.
Because he ate people that made his testicles
Because
grow?
he ate these crazy kids, adults. They were crazy kids.
Dishy
Then they got there's a whole other story around them that we can't get to tonight.
Something about eating these bodies,
right?
The flesh of man and woman, Dishy, Dash,
right?
and Cassie.
With the
oil.
Because they had been messing with the oil. They had been eating these crazy roots and sharpening. They're getting all these rocks, and they're everything is just soaking into their bodies, and they're becoming these kind of wells of what he didn't realize was strange magical powers.
And this won't upset the demon or the priest?
No, the priest is not even part of this anymore.
Okay.
But he comes in later.
But now the eunuch is fully functional, and he'll be even more tempted.
Yes.
I see.
So it's exactly. So he thought that he was going to be figuring this whole thing out because he didn't have what he needed to get in trouble. But now he's got it. But he still is loyal. He's loyal to the king. He's loyal to the mission.
Oh, it's gonna be so much. But it's gonna be so hard now because he's gonna be so.
Before you know it, all the rocks, all the big jagged rocks that people been lost in, Dishy Dashy, Cassidy, Mel Gibson, a whole group of people that have been lost in this place. Because the thing at the center of this whole story, the oil elemental, controls its own environment.
2 more minutes.
It controls.
2 more minutes.
It knows how to make pathways. It knows how to make alleyways and all sorts of. It's just all part of the. It's all part of its what do they say about it's a man is a home is a castle.
What are you saying?
I'm saying he just knows how to make the whole thing. He's just got all these abilities to move things around and make people go lost or make people find their way. And now that he's got the eunuch Mel Gibson right where he wants him, then now the trap is coming down hard.
Right. Oh my God.
On Mel. And so Mel, the pathway opens. Mel walks to the well where all the oil is, and it's the shiniest, clearest, most clarified stuff you've ever seen in your whole life. And
Robbie, this is the most. We got another hype. The hype train continues. The story. Oh, if you're just tuning us now, Robbie's been telling an incredible story about a eunuch who's being tempted by this beautiful sexual oil elemental, and he has to keep telling the story for as long as the hype train is going. This is the highest hype train we've ever had. Thank you so much to everyone for making this happen. The story continues. Back to you, Robbie. You have 4 or 5 minutes to finish the story.
Okay,
or more if they go to the next one. Level 10. Back to you.
Mel Gibson's walking down the pathway, and at the end of it, he sees the well. Crazy, the oil at the well. The oil in the well looks great. Amazing stuff. Never seen before in the history of the world has it looked this good. And his sun is coming up, and everybody's
his sun.
No, the sun is coming up. All across the region. The sun is coming up, and it's beautiful bright beams of light hitting the oil, and it's bouncing and refracting in all these colors and rainbows.
That's the slick
and
oil.
There's elemental right at the center of it.
This is nuts.
Holy moly!
What happened?
Hoodie lolly!
What has happened?
It is everything. It's like there's, how Lovecraft will kind of shirk his responsibility as a storyteller to describe, so he doesn't have to describe something that's so crazy it makes people go nuts.
Yes, but you won't.
But this thing is like that, but describe it. But
But I want to know what I want to know what it looks like in my mind. So don't
start. For first base, second base, third base, home run. That's what this thing is. Really? The whole package for everybody. To look on this thing is to see everything you ever wanted to do or thought about doing, or feared maybe you couldn't do, but maybe if given the chance or having an open enough conversation with a loved one, they would help you out with it. Whoa. That's what this thing is. It's got muscles, it's got veins, it's got nubs and caves and eyes and lashes and hair. It's just a it's just, and it's spinning.
It spins.
It spins because it spins so fast.
What?
That you know how you ever see like a ceiling fan? You just want to put your hand in there and just get whacked by it.
Yes, it's.
That's how everybody feels about this thing. It's
spinning. But is it clear? Is it translucent or clear? Is it physical
no,
form of
it's thick and viscous and it's thick. I mean, it looks good.
But it's okay. Okay.
If you were to see it, we get made. You know what I'm talking about?
We wouldn't be able to stop ourselves.
We wouldn't be able. No one could.
Because
Nobody out there in the world, in the chat. This thing, it rolls.
It rolls.
It spins. It rolls.
How do you come up with
it takes you, and
He's just coming up with this.
It's just
2 more minutes.
No, I'm not coming up with this. This is an old story passed down.
I thought you were making it up.
This is the oldest way to tell. The oldest way that we know about how life used to be in the prehistory time is through the oral tradition. And that and funnily enough,
1 minute and 30 seconds.
That's its name.
What's its name?
The oral tradition.
That's the name of the oral element. The oral tradition.
It's unfortunate, but that's what it's called. So the oral tradition reaches out. It reaches out everything. I mean, it's everything. It's not a hand. It's not an arm. It's not a finger. It's not a foot. It's just the whole. It's everything you've ever seen. Everything you've ever wanted to see, or everything that you were too afraid to see because you knew you wouldn't be able.
1 more minute, please. I want to know. I want to know what happens.
And the moment Mel Gibson sees it,
what does he do?
He looks at it and he says.
What does he say?
Takes a deep breath, throws his hands up in the air, and says, "You got me."
What?
You got me.
You got me. Oh no. What's gonna happen?
And I can't tell you. with good conscience what happens next.
But Robbie, the hype. You have 30 seconds. You have to keep talking.
But I'm just saying that everything happens to Mel Gibson.
But you have to tell you what it is. Just describe it. They changed the rules of Twitch. You can describe it now.
Mel Gibson if you can imagine making pasta.
Yes.
From scratch,
I know,
with the flour and the yeast and the egg and you roll it through. That's what Mel Gibson is doing from every angle and imaginable.
With his body?
His body is being absolutely
Robbie. Robbie. Wait, is that the end of it? That's the end of it. Oh, damn, it was just getting good. Damn it, it was getting so good. Oh, can I curse? Damn, fuck. Ooh, I did it.
Just be
oh
careful.
My God. Thank you so much for getting that much of the story, but I really wanted to know. I want to
thank everybody for making
That's a lot of it.
Story.
8,600 bits, 53 subs. Thank you so much. That was an incredible story, and it was just getting so good, you guys. Because did you hear what he said? Did you guys hear what he said about about how he compared it to pasta? That was
and I just want everybody to take a breath, think about what they've heard this evening. We're all gonna try to reset a little bit here.
I want to smoke a cigarette.
I mean, it was nuts back then. Before we had paper. Damn.
That was nuts.
All right. So, welcome to EGI2 Stream 7. This is the news that you can use, video game news, culture, analysis, thought, and conversation about games that mostly specifically were developed and released between 2002 and 2011, Allan.
Just a little note. Not that I want anyone to spend money they don't have or go in debt to hear the rest of this story. If a hype train happens during the rest of this broadcast, Robbie will continue the story from where he left off with the sexual pasta scene.
I mean, you can't call it that because it's above all of that. It's above that word. You can't. There's not even curse words that could tell you what was happening there.
Incredible. Back to EGI2.
Back to EGI2. So we do have went on for a bit longer than expected, but let's say
That's a good thing.
we'll
That's because the story was so engaging, because you're so good at telling stories.
Allan Resnick, you have, I understand, a special report this evening. We have a special report. That's right. You heard it. Breaking news. We do have a special report here on EGI2 stream number 7. It's a special report with Allan Resnick, our correspondent, our man on the street, the guy who goes out every day he works himself to the bone to bring you the news that you can trust, the insights from the street level of this business.
Let me find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, great. You want me to do the special report?
Let's do the special report now, because this is the time. Let's get back into the game. And Allan, what is your special report on this evening?
Thank you so much, Robbie. It's hard to come down after such an incredible story, and my brain is still buzzing from the story. But I do have a special report here. I did write a special report. I love to write special reports because I know how much you like them. And my special report tonight is about a little game called Dino Crisis 2.
And I'm so excited about the special report, and I want to tell you something, Allan, because we were talking about the baby's getting the milk from mommy.
I remember.
And so I want to just say that when you give your special report, that's like me getting the milk that I want.
So you give me milk. It's interesting though, because the only reason I have nourishment enough to produce milk is because of the milk I got from the game information that you've given me. So I've drank your milk, and then a little bit of and I make a little bit of my own milk to nourish you.
And this, no one else is talking about Dino Crisis 2, as far as I know, on EGI2 stream 7 tonight. Correct?
As far as I know, I'm the only one talking about it tonight on EGI2.
People are in the chat are taking this the wrong way. We're not talking about anything but the nourishment and the respect that mommies and babies have for each other.
It is a loving respect, and also, just to clarify, if anyone is confused, normally a baby drinks mother's milk from the mouth. We take it in our ear.
If you're just joining us tonight, we do have. Let's give a quick shout out for our sponsors for the evening. Frame Guide on the Sega Dreamcast, mini gaming desktops that cost around between $700 and $800. Bitmap Books, who I already own most of these books pictured here. I just want second copies of them so I can keep some of them sealed. And our newest sponsor. This is breaking news. We do have a new sponsor to announce this evening. I think people will be very excited to know that it is in fact, copper wire with plastic.
And this is a real sponsor?
And this is not a real sponsor, but you know we've had such dire luck, I would say, with our previous sponsors, Bitmap Books, Gaming Desktop, and Frame Guide, that I thought it would be nice to bring us back down to earth and actually ask. And bid for sponsorship from copper wire, because copper wire is something that people use on a daily basis. They use it to fill their houses, and fill it with power
their devices. They're wonderful gaming devices,
power
and mini
devices.
PCs.
So this is a commodity that we know exists in some abundance, and yet it is still pricey. And so,
valuable.
If we had some of our own copper wire, then we could take it to one of the places that buy it back. By the downtown, and they'll give us some money, and then we'll reinvest in the show.
To clarify to new viewers, these aren't real sponsors. These are hopeful sponsors. So if you are someone who works at Copperwire or higher up in the Copperwire industry, reach out to us. Our email address is electronicgameinformation@gmail.com, and we will. This is the kind of segment we would do to promote your product, Copperwire, and we do need that.
Back to you, Allan.
Okay, this is my special report. It is called Dino Crisis 2: Unleashing the Power of Prehistoric Thrills. So I'm going to start off my special report by showing the trailer to Dino Crisis 2, just so the viewers get a little taste of Dino Crisis. So let's play that. I think. Oh wait, this is.
Oh, this is the part where
I think this is the wrong one. Can you? Hold on. Okay. Sorry everybody. Can we cut back? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Robbie. That was that one was a little low resolution. And I didn't want it probably looked a little muddy on the stream. So can we play we used an AI to digitally upscale it to kind of remaster it to modern fidelity, to 4K. So can we play the 4K upscale version? Thank you. Okay. Oh, that's better. See how sharp it is? Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It can be. There, that looks better. Wow. Look at that. See the dinosaur? Dino Crisis 2. Okay.
Wow.
So that
Great stuff, Allan.
Thank you so much. Okay. So okay. I'm gonna just read my special report, and so hopefully that gave you guys a bit of a taste of Dino Crisis 2. Hello, gamers. Hold on to your controllers, because hold on to your controllers because we've got some exciting news for you. In the realm, let me get my thing. In the realm of video games, Dino Crisis 2, there it is, just to give you a little taste, Dino Crisis 2 stands as a thrilling evolution from its predecessor, Dino Crisis 1, right there. So again, this is, if you're just joining us, this is EGI 2, which is a thrilling evolution from its predecessor, EGI 1.
Oh, but the acronyms are not, you can't, it's different. EGI 2 is its own acronym, EGI 1 is its own.
Yes, EGI...
also its own acronym, unrelated. EGI, that's why the 2 is there.
Right, I'm going to just adjust my volume, hold on. EGI 1 stood for Electronic Game Information, and it played for many years on AdultSwim.com. And EGI 2, the letters don't mean anything, and it's a show on Twitch. Okay, Dino Crisis 2, Dino Crisis 1, inviting players into the world of where dinosaurs reign supreme. Released in the year 2000. Remember? This game took the franchise in a new direction, blending survival horror with intense action. But what truly set it apart is its ability to make players imagine what it would be like to encounter these magnificent creatures in the real world. Heart-pounding adventure, Dino Crisis 2. Players once again step into the shoes of Regina, a special forces operative tasked with investigating the island overrun by, you guessed it, dinosaurs.
And that's those are screenshots, Allan, from the original Dino Crisis, I believe.
I think this is from Dino Crisis 2. Maybe it's just the reflection on there. I think that's from Dino Crisis 2.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, my mistake.
What sets this installment apart from its predecessor is its shift towards action-packed gameplay. Some of that's keying out. Action-packed gameplay, and the introduction of the over-the-shoulder perspective. Can you see that? Perspective about a new level of intensity to encounters with these prehistoric giants. Okay. The power of the dinosaur encounters. Imagine for a moment what it would be like to encounter a living, breathing dinosaur in real life. Can you imagine what it would be like to encounter a dinosaur in real life? I don't know if there's a little glare on that. Some of it is keying out. You know, the sheer size of the dinosaur, their majesty, their primal power. These creatures would be, of course, they would be kind of awe-inspiring if you were to see them. If you were to see them in real life. I think, in a way, seeing a dinosaur would almost feel spiritual. In a way, it would feel quite spiritual. Dino Crisis 2 taps into everyone's innate fascination with, you guessed it, dinosaurs. Allowing players to come face to face with a variety of species, including the towering Tyrannosaurus Rex. I think that's no, that's not the T-Rex. Wait, oh, hold on. Wait, I already showed it. The T-Rex or the Velociraptor there. That's the Velociraptor. Let's talk about graphics. Graphically, Dino Crisis 2 is a significant leap forward from its predecessor. The detailed environments, can you see that there? It's keying out quite a bit, but you can see it's kind of very detailed graphics. Detailed environments and the lifelike character models draw the player into deeper into the game world. Plus, of course, its thrilling cinematic sequences heighten the immersion, making players feel like they are literally part of a thrilling prehistoric adventure. Can you imagine that? A prehistoric adventure. The verdict. While Dino Crisis 2 departed from the survival horror roots of the first game, it harnessed the power of dinosaur encounters to create an unforgettable gaming experience, and it allowed the players to imagine what it would be like to witness these magnificent creatures, not just in the game world, but in their own reality. In the end, Dino Crisis 2 doesn't just offer heart-pounding action, it taps into the profound allure of dinosaurs. The profound allure of dinosaurs, making us contemplate the remarkable experience of encountering them in real life, putting out your hand and touching the rocky, bumpy skin of a dinosaur. What would that be like? And knowing that a dinosaur knows that you know that they are happy. And it serves as a reminder that the idea of witnessing a living dinosaur is a powerful, almost spiritual concept that captivates our imagination. Back to you, Robbie.
Let's go to the phones and see what people are saying about Dino Crisis 2.
I almost fell off my seat. Is it hot in here? Let's see what people are saying.
Quite a report, Allan. I wanted to first
You're on the air with Electronic Game Information 2. Who's calling, and what did you think of my special report? Back to you, caller. Turn the show down and talk, and you talk.
Yeah, that's it.
Hello?
Oh,
Whoa.
Christ.
Okay, that was
Okay.
Sorry, you're a bit loud. Sound off in the chat if the volume is okay in the call.
Hello?
Who are we talking to? Who's on? Who?
Hi.
Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from? And what's your news?
It's. I can't hear anything.
Check.
Who am I?
Maybe you can't hear us. Hold on. Stay on the line, caller.
Memento. It's new. It's EGI 2. It's the new technical difficulty. Breaking news. We've got a new technical difficulty that we've discovered. So back to you, caller. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm here. I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh.
How's it going? Why are you calling us?
So I want to say the dinosaur stuff is beautiful. Did you guys ever play the Jurassic Park, the Lost World game at an arcade before?
I've played the Lost World arcade game. I've played the Lost World PlayStation and Sega Saturn game, and I've played the Lost World. I believe there was a Lost World game for the Super Nintendo that I believe I also played.
That was great. Also, how do you find those pictures of Robbie is in so many? How do you find so many great pictures of Robbie's face to use in those pictures?
Did you see the segment where we showed the Dino Crisis 2 trailer? And it was a little blurry.
Yeah.
And I had a computer program make it look crystal clear. There was a setting in the same program where I could literally add Robbie into the world of Dino Crisis 2 somehow. And I couldn't believe it worked. But I just said, what would it be like if Robbie was in Dino Crisis 2? And these incredible images popped up, and I said, this is exactly what I need for my special report. So it just kind of happened sort of in this natural way, and I was just able to just get him into the report and see him interacting with these dinosaurs and these beautiful creatures. And it showed him doing all kinds of things. And I was blown away too.
Do that, that's not. Is that that's not Robbie? That's Sylvester Stallone.
This looks I said Robbie Rackleff. I did have to put in some personal information about him, his social security number, which I do have, and it started pumping out these incredible lifelike photos of Robbie.
Jesus effing Jesus.
All right. So, Allan, I wanted to. Caller, what's your name again?
Wow.
It's Cody.
Cody from Florida. It's lovely to hear from you. It's Cody. One of the things that I feel like I was missing, and I do feel like this is a big part, is where Dino Crisis falls in terms of the Capcom epoch between the Resident Evil series and something like Devil May Cry 3.
Dino Crisis 2 might as well just be a Survivors. It might as well just be Dino Crisis The Survivors.
The Survivors.
As far as I'm concerned.
Survivors. What do you mean by that? You're talking about because the combat system in Dino Crisis 2 has a similar accolade system that you see later on, a couple years later, in Devil May Cry.
Yeah. Oh, Dino cool. Oh, you're doing so cool. You're doing so cool.
And there was, and you did say there was a light gun game, wasn't there, Allan? There was a light gun game that was. You're the Dino Crisis expert. Let us know, what was the name of that light gun game that was sort of set within the Dino Crisis?
I know, Robbie. It's Dino Survivors.
Oh, it's Dino Survivor. It is Dino Survivor. See, I thought my wires were crossed for a second, but you turned out to there were.
You could play it with the GunCon 2.
Exactly. So similar to Allan, if you go back to those old Resident Evil games that take place on boats.
They did?
That was Dead Aim.
Dead Aim.
Oh, Dead Aim. This one, it looks like you're like a dentist. You're like cleaning the dinosaur teeth.
So Cody, what's the scoop from Florida in terms of your Dino Crisis experience?
I mean, I can't even concentrate, to be honest with you right now, Robbie.
It's a tough evening. I'm not gonna lie. We've had tough evenings on the show before on previous shows. This is gonna be a rough one for everyone. So let's just buckle down.
I didn't know that artificial intelligence was capable of these kind of this.
Apparently, it is. I was also quite shocked and thrilled in a way. I did feel a thrill shoot through my body when I was just upscaling this trailer, and suddenly I was looking at these beautiful images of someone who I knew so well, all of a sudden in a new context, fighting dinosaurs and cleaning their teeth.
It's flattering. It's flattering that Robbie has this much facial recognition material.
It makes sense because, at least my understanding, and I do only have a cursory understanding of this technology, but Robbie's quite well known And for many, many years, he did host a show on AdultSwim.com with incredible viewership. So it makes sense that that images from that show somehow infected the internet in sort of a virus, sort of ghost in the machine sort of way. And so he's in some software I downloaded, and I just couldn't get him out if I tried. But I am quite grateful for that, because it's like, you know, it's not Christmas was a while ago, but I felt like a second Christmas when my little upscaling video plugin gifted me with these incredible gifts.
It's almost like he's a toy now. He's like a toy in your hands now.
That's a good way to think about it. Yes, I would have never put it in such interesting language, but yes, now Robbie is a toy to me that I can play with, and I can go home and I can play with him and think of him and put him in all sorts of scenarios without his consent and make him do all kinds of things. So I never thought of that. So thank you for calling and telling me this.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Cody.
Thank
Back
you for
to
your
you,
call,
Robbie.
Cody. We do have another caller on the line. Let's say goodnight to Cody and go
I
to.
love you, Robbie. I love you, Allan.
I love you, Cody.
We love you, Cody. Stay safe.
We'll get the news from Florida again, I'm sure. Caller, you're on the air with EGI2 Stream 7. What's the news? Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Matthew, and believe it or not, my roommate was the dude who called before, just now.
So the whole house.
So you're Matthew
whole
from
house is
Florida,
a fan.
Cody from Florida, Matthew from Florida, Fort Myers.
Yeah.
The Fort Myers
Yeah.
boys.
Cape Coral.
Cape Coral, the Cape Coral boys.
But
Yeah.
different phone lines.
Coral
Different
boys.
phone lines, because you were able to
Different phone
call.
line. We don't share a phone.
You don't
We're not
share
like one of
a
those-
wired phone line in your home.
No, we're not like one of those like Salem witch trial houses that has a landline or anything like that.
Salem witch trial houses. Can you
Yeah.
can you imagine? So Matthew,
Yeah.
you're thinking about Dino Crisis is on your mind. Dino Survivor, Dead Aim, Resident Evil Dead Aim, Resident Evil Outbreak, the whole experimental period, the experimental epoch between Resident Evil, let's say Resident Evil Code Veronica and Resident Evil 4. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm surprised you didn't mention Dino Crisis 3, Xbox exclusive, released September 16th, 2003.
Well, we were going to talk about Dino Crisis 3 earlier in the show, but we sort of got derailed by the story of the Mel Gibson and all his trials.
Well, it's a good thing I called then.
So what are your thoughts about Dino Crisis 3? I mean, in some ways it doesn't even count as a Dino Crisis game anymore. It's got the name, but it doesn't have the soul, does it?
Well, it has a spaceship, and there's dinosaurs in space, and it's. I think the best part about it is it's an Xbox exclusive. That means people that have a GameCube or a PlayStation 2, they can't play it. They have to buy an Xbox.
It is an Xbox exclusive, Allan, and that no one else is talking about the fact that there were these weird Capcom games that ended up being Xbox exclusives, not just Dino Crisis 3, but also
Kind of.
Yeah.
Steel Battalion.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Steel Battalion, of course. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
interesting. Damn.
I mean, with a game like that, well, yeah, Dino Crisis 3 is just, it's one of those games where nobody really played. But yeah, Dino Crisis 2 is pretty fun. I played it way back in the day, and it's like, it's just like, it's one of those video games. Like, it's just like that.
It's just a video
Absolutely.
game. It's just one of
Big
those games. It's just a game. It kind of passes through the eyes, out the back of the head, like a bullet.
And next time,
But a bullet, an insubstantial bullet.
a bullet that grazes but doesn't kill.
It doesn't graze. It doesn't touch. It just
Just
sort of
whizzes
it
by-
whizzes by, whizzes through. It's one of, I guess. I mean, it's if I could get shot with a bullet in the eye,
God forbid.
God forbid.
Unless you
I
committed
wanted
it.
to
Unless
pass
you,
through-
unless
I
you
wanted-
deserved it.
I would want it to pass through without making a big scene. And
No,
Dino Crisis
uh-huh.
3 in some ways is a game that does that.
It
It
passes
passed through.
by,
People
passes
took
through.
on luck. They said, camera's wonky, controls are insane. It's not for me.
And if they made a Dino Crisis 4, I would hope they would maybe make a model for the main character that would look like Robbie.
And with all the, Matthew from Florida, Cape Coral, with all the
Don't
Resident
dox.
Evil reboots that they've been
Don't-
pulling off
don't
these
dox.
days. What?
Don't dox.
With all the Resident Evil,
I said it. It's okay.
Don't-
Like,
I mean,
like,
Cape Coral is
I
not.
said-
It's not.
But they know that they live together. They know that they're roommates. So that's enough information to dox.
Matthew, is that enough information to dox?
I don't believe.
I can't.
so.
You can't.
And
You can't.
even
I mean, you
then-
can't go back. You can't
even
run the
then.
tape back and get the
Well, I mean,
get the
even
IP.
then, what are they gonna do? They're gonna walk in on me taking a dump or something. That's all they're gonna do.
And let's just let's quit it with the brown language, folks, because we don't want none of that on EGI2.
Yep.
This is a clean show.
Yep.
The oil is clear, clarified
You know.
stuff. We do the best that we can. But what I wanted to ask you, Matthew, was that if we're talking about all these Resident Evil remakes that have been coming out lately,
Yep.
why can't we get one of
Absolutely.
Dino Crisis? Now, there's a game that I think would absolutely 100% benefit from a bit of the old kick in the rear end that Resident Evil 2 and 3 got.
I mean, it's one of those things. I'm surprised it hasn't happened because when you look at it, look at alligators. They're kind of dinosaurs, right? They're still around.
Well, birds.
Dino Crisis movie.
It's supposed to be birds.
What are?
Dinosaurs.
And what are alligators?
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. Birds.
I don't know. I guess there were probably
must-
alligators.
But why would an alligator not
Dinosaurs became birds, Allan.
and alligators?
Were probably alligators back then too.
No, it was no.
Maybe they were larger.
Dinosaurs.
There was two
were
things.
let
there was
I wanna
two-
hear
there's three or
caller.
four things. Snakes,
I wanna
alligators, and dinosaurs
What?
all lived together at the same time.
And what is the
And
caller?
dinosaurs got out. They got bird.
And the caller says,
Right.
Well, the alligators were dinosaurs, and then they became alligators.
I
And
think
then
they.
became
I
birds.
disagree. I think they were.
And then they
I
became
think I think they
alligators.
played it straight the whole time. I think they've been alligators the whole time.
Yeah.
Thank you for your call, Matthew. What a
Yep.
thoughtful, thought-provoking conversation, and we'll
Yep.
be sure to have more in just a moment. But we are going to take a quick short break, and then we come back. We're going to do our Steam Key giveaway.
Yay!
So don't go nowhere.
Okay.
We got. Get off the phone, Matt.
All right.
free up the phone line for Cody.
All right, and we're back with EGI2 Stream 7. It's been a educational evening. All evening we've been having education, and we've been learning and growing as a group, as a family, and thank heavens, because we're all going to need each other going into this year. And there's just, Alan, there's something that's really been getting me down lately, which is there's too many video games.
Yes, there are quite a bit this year and last.
And the other day, somebody was game was coming up a lot in conversation with people. It's called Pal World. What is it again? Pal World.
Pal World.
Pal World.
Pal World.
And I says, what in the name? What is that? And so I look it up. And it's huge. It's one of the biggest games in a long time.
But generally speaking,
and it's making and everyone says, and Chunky Plans got it right. They say it's just Pokemon with guns.
That sounds
good. And I just read a couple of articles about it. They wrote about it in the Gray Lady herself. The New York Times wrote about Pal World. And I just says, where is this coming from? Who's got the time to make this blockbuster game come out of nowhere? And who's got the time to play all these things?
Well, there's plenty of gamers who have different interests, and there's a market for it. Then more power to them. Pokemon with guns. I think all children's content should have guns.
It just makes me worry. Well, I was going through my old Steam library, and it grows, and it never shrinks, Alan. And time and somehow the Steam library grows and never shrinks, and time that we've got left shrinks and never grows.
Oh shoot!
And there's and I don't mean to belabor the point, but they're just we have so few time. We have so few time. Such fewer. Every moment is an opportunity, Alan. An opportunity to make a difference.
I never thought about that. What you said about how the time is going
11,
small.
11 Suspiria has subscribed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I couldn't read that whole thing before it went away, but it seemed good. So Nathan Vegetable says, we've been wanting Pokemon RPG for so long, so bad, and I thought that one of the things that people loved about the Pokemon were that they didn't do the things. They didn't slaughter each other like wild animals, I guess.
But they are Pokemon.
But they are wild animals.
They're animals. So
but they found a way to deal with it.
Yeah,
and that was what made sense to me.
So it's good that this happened.
So with that in mind, every moment is an opportunity to make a difference, and every moment is an opportunity to make someone's day a little bit brighter, a little bit better. So I thought that we would have a nice time giving away the Steam keys tonight.
Okay,
that we have these are Steam keys that may or may not work. These are parts of packages and bundles I get that I absolutely don't have time to remember which ones I actually redeem for myself. So if you see something that you like, then take a shot. See if you can get it in your Steam library, and if you do, I hope that is a thing that worked for you. Alan?
Good luck to you, viewer. I hope this is a game you want, the Steam key that he says. I hope it's a game you want. I hope you hear what he says. I'll say it as well. And I hope the key activates and you play it and get enjoyment and pleasure from the game that Robbie gives you. Another gift from Robbie.
Thank you for that. And we are going to launch our... We're doing things a little bit differently tonight. It's the Steam Key giveaway, folks.
Yay. And I just want to quickly say...
Okay, go back to Alan.
I just want to quickly say, I know we often beg and ask for you to give us money through subscribing and bits and bytes. But this is a moment where Robbie is being very, very generous. He doesn't pay James or myself financially with money directly, but he does give out these Steam keys, and James or I could redeem them, or the viewer could. So it's a two-way street. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you, Robbie, for being
Cody
so generous.
Pants in the chat has actually reminded. I thought it was a little odd. It was Dino Stalker, not Dino Survivor.
That makes
that
sense.
was the light. That was the light gun.
Yeah. Okay.
Dino Crisis
Great.
game.
Okay, back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Allan. Back to me. First, the way that we're gonna do the Steam Key giveaway tonight is that we are actually going to be showing some of the trailers for the games to get people excited about the Steam Key, so that if they see the game
Cool.
if they see a game that they like, then they know that it's to pay attention.
Okay. Is this art? Fan art?
This is the first Steam Key giveaway game.
This is a game.
This is a game called Hell Pie.
Hell Pie.
Apparently, it's made a big difference in a lot of people's lives and people.
You bought this?
I didn't buy it. I bought it by accident.
Okay. Nugget.
And it's not the kind of thing I'm into, but people around.
Oh, someone's giving us bits.
So thanks for the bits. Hope you enjoy.
Freelance.
This is kind of a nasty game. It's people are. It's gross. It's people like being thinking about it, but and doing gross things. So it's the kind of game for them. For me, it was a little bit. I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's kind of like Psychonauts. It's kind of like.
Yeah, I don't like this.
And maybe people. That like Psychonauts, but also are kind of just have something nasty that they want to get out of their system.
All right, we don't need to see this anymore.
We'll play. So that's Hell Pie.
Hell Pie, great.
And it's a filthy 3D platformer.
Okay.
Hell Pie is an obscene 3D platformer that takes bad taste to the next level. The game sees you grab the horns.
Gross. The
horns of Nate, the demon of bad taste. And then we were talking about the demon earlier.
You were talking about,
and that was one of those demons that kind of like you see that movie Prometheus?
Yes.
So kind of like that kind of a demon.
There was a demon in there.
There was the guy in the beginning. There's a feller that jumps off the thing and then throws up.
I didn't think that was a demon. But
that's what demons used to look like before the Greeks came along and what have you. Given the honorable task to gather disgusting ingredients for Satan's infamous birthday pie. To do so, Nate must venture out into the overworld and do whatever it takes to ensure these ingredients are secured in time, or there's going to be hell to pay.
And
luckily, Nate isn't alone on this quest. His pet angel Nugget is there to offer support. Nugget offers his holy insight when needed, but more importantly, is chained to Nate. So if you think about astral chain, that's kind of like I imagine that maybe some sort of similar. Like dual character control system going on there. And we can talk about that a little bit more, but one other thing I want to point out is that if you are interested in redeeming Hell Pie tonight, then you will be required to have at least Windows 7, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, and preferably all of these will be the 64-bit versions of Windows, at least an Intel Core i3-3225, 4 gigabytes of RAM, an NVIDIA GeForce 660. Is that GTX 660, 5 gigabytes of storage space, and that's just the minimum requirements. The recommended requirements are the same Windows packages, Intel Core i7-7700K.
Oh, wow.
8 gigabytes of RAM, NVIDIA GeForce 1060, or RTX 2070, including ray tracing.
Wow.
Do you see any need for ray tracing in that nasty business, Allan?
I didn't see any. It didn't seem like the graphics required ray tracing.
Well, if you're interested in this business, if that kind of game shouts to you and says this is, if you're a Conquer person, you know what I'm talking about. Conquer's Bad Fur Day. If you're into mischief makers and barf and smoking
and just.
Then this is the key for you. B7
BD
N dash 5 WMJ. Wait, 5. Wait, what did I say? B7 DN dash 5 WM J3 4Q. So if you're into wanting if you're looking to explore insane environments, meet tons of repugnant characters, and witness some truly shocking sights, Hell Pie is a seriously twisted take on the classic mascot performer. So come along for the ride if you think you can stomach it, or if you have at least Windows 7, 8.1, or 10, the 64-bit version. I don't know why the 64-bit versions are what's required
Yeah,
there.
that does seem a bit.
Intel Core i7-770K. Did I say 8 gigabytes of RAM, and NVIDIA GeForce 1060 or RTX 270 with ray tracing, and of course DirectX version 12.
And just because we find the kind of humor in these games to be despicable and deplorable and maybe should punishable, ideally someone would be punished for this sort of humor, just because we despise this style of comedy in this game doesn't mean the team didn't have their full heart in it and work hard and deserve a lot of credit for making something.
And
it's hard to make a game.
It's funny that you say that, Allan, because I was just thinking about, we got the new game reviews show that we do on Wednesdays now. We did Thursday last week, but that was because of a scheduling snafu. But one of the things that I feel like is missing from most modern game reviews is a little chapter. I guess not a chapter. It's called when a chapter. It's smaller than a chapter. It's like you break it up into. It's a holy crow. What is that thing? It's smaller. It's a thing. You've got a narrative going, right? And you break it up into different. If it was a book, it would be chapters. But if it's just a one sheet, then what?
It's just if it was a book, it would be chapters. Paragraphs?
No. I mean, there's paragraphs in it. Absolutely.
How long are we going tonight?
Anyway, so if you're looking to make, what I think is that they're missing a little section. That's what. Section. They're missing a section that says,
very good.
Does it seem worth it to support the people that make this game? Do the people that made the game get a sense of this? That the people behind it are worthy. I mean, we're all worthy of some compassion, but are they worthy of our emotional labor and support? So again, that's Nate Hell Pie, and it's unknown if these people are worth our emotional labor, but not only our emotional labor, but the fruits of our labor, which is money.
Right.
B7BDN-5WMJ.
Oh, we already did that.
320F4Q. And good luck to you if you're looking for Hell Pie, and if you're not looking for Hell Pie, maybe you're looking for the next game on our Steam Key giveaway. Take it away. This is the trailer. Nathan Vegetable got the Steam Key for Hell Pie. Good work, Nathan.
And what am I seeing here?
So this is our next game. This is an adventure game. It's a point and click thing. There's kind of boxes and people are moving around, but they're not people, or at least the people that they're not normal people.
Well,
they're wild, and they've got all sorts of ambitions, and they've got business going on, and the doors are opening, and pulleys
what
and
kind of a thing
chains,
is this?
and then there's the train that people are going through, and it turns out that there's mammoths somewheres in this thing,
what?
and
There's
fly
a mammoth?
and it
A woolly
dials,
mammoth?
and you point and you click and you find and you talk to people and you learn the story, and the thing was beaten on a drum, and maybe it was just a dream, but maybe it was the real thing, and we all know that this thing is this is one of the classic turn of the 21st century point and click games, Allan.
Classic.
And it is of course.
I don't know what I'm seeing.
We're looking
This
at.
looks prehistoric even.
Oh,
there's the mammoth.
Mammoths, and so I wasn't lying about it. We were talking earlier about the prehistory times and what we lost, and we lost some of the people that would have told us about what had happened before everything was on paper, and before people were thinking, we got to get this stuff. We got to make a record.
What is the game? What kind of a game is this?
This is a Siberia 2 on PC. This is it made, I believe, 2 other platforms. This is the Steam Key giveaway. If you saw that and you're looking for, let's take a little bit about having. So this is Siberia 2, the sequel. having searched Eastern and Western Europe for a missing heir, as in someone. She's missing.
We know
Someone's
what you mean.
missing. Kate Walker has finally completed her long and arduous journey to Siberia and obtaining the signature of Hans Vorarlberg and closing the automaton factory buyout. Mission accomplished? Not for this sophisticated New York lawyer.
H-E-I-R.
An unlikely pair, young Kate Walker and old eccentric Hans Vorarlberg, now set off on a journey together in search of the fabled Siberian mammoths.
Right.
At the heart of a long and forgotten universe, the surreal quest Hans began alone several years ago will come to a close as he and Kate face obstacles for a far more dangerous than ever before. Testing their courage and determination far and beyond a mystical Siberia awaits. So, features of this game are original and captivating storyline. That's one. Reach and intriguing new characters with new realistically detailed 3D environments, which I
like
believe
that.
you're a fan of.
Yes.
Completely integrated original puzzles that test the player's skill.
Fun.
And the system requirements are at least Windows XP, Vista, 7 or 10. Doesn't say if it's 32 or 64-bit. So be generous with the key if you find that it doesn't work for you. Maybe somebody else give it away to somebody who has a 64-bit system.
Why didn't you play it? It seems like a fun.
I have it. I own it on good old games. Processor, at least what doesn't say how many cores, but at least a 1.5 gigahertz CPU, 512 megabytes of memory, which I think most of us probably have. Just
at this point, this is an older game. I think you'd have no
4 or
trouble
5,
running it on
4 to 6,
any machine.
8. You could probably run this on a Chromebook for all I know. Gig and a half of hard disk space and a sound card. So if you're interested in Siberia 2 and you've got the sound card, ER4MA dash
Z
Z37L9. So what are your thoughts about the whole point and click genre, Alan? And let's open up the phone lines to see what people are thinking about the Steam Key giveaway so far.
I think it's a great genre of game. It reminds me of being young and pointing and just clicking and saying, it was easier. You say, I want to go here, and so you just point. It's kind of a more fundamentally basic, childlike way of interacting. Instead of this, which is kind of confusing, you just point. You say, go there, pick up.
To you, Allan.
And back to you, caller. Who's on the air? Who are we talking to?
Well, back to you, Robbie. It's your good pal, your friend, friend of the chat. It's Scott.
Scott from the pit.
Scott from the pit.
We call him Scott from the pit because he's from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And he's got and in Fallout 3 and Fallout 76 they call Pittsburgh the pit.
Right.
And one of the first systems and games I ever played would have been Atari and Pitfall. So that all goes back.
I don't follow.
Well, it was Scott from the pit.
But Pittsburgh. Fallout 3 and 76.
Well, back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Scott. And what a wonderful it is. It's wonderful to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the Steam Key giveaway so far?
To be honest with you, I'm loving the Steam Key giveaways. As you know, I don't play many games, so I don't necessarily benefit in the way of playing the game or cashing in a Steam Key.
Absolutely.
But I benefit in the way of having joy for the people that do get the like Nathan Vegetable got that Steam Key, and it made me so happy.
He got the Steam Key for Hell Pie. He's on his way. Nathan is on his way to, of course, gather the ingredients for Satan's birthday pie. That's the kind of stuff that he's into.
Now, I mean, that sounds like an intriguing game. I like pie. You know, I'm not a religious person, so I can't say I'm necessarily into Satan, but pie.
And the business, it's a pie, not a cake.
For a birthday. Interesting.
That is interesting. As a matter of fact, I've bought somebody a pie for their birthday because they didn't like cake. So I could see how that happens.
I also prefer pie, and I never thought about that.
What's your favorite pie, Allan?
My favorite pie would probably be cheesecake.
That's not a pie.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a hybrid. It's like a remastered cake.
This is
a
what do you call that?
It's a pie.
It's
It's
like
not
ketchup.
Cake. It's
You know how ketchup's both a liquid and a solid?
no.
What is that called?
Liquid. That's,
Chat, what's that called?
Is that like an amalgam?
No. What's ketchup? Hold on. Wait.
Ketchup is tomatoes.
Emulsion. Is that right? Is it emulsion?
It's a slurry.
Anyway, I think it's sick.
I hate ketchup, so I'm with you, Robbie.
Me as well.
All right. So wait.
I think ketchup is the worst condiment to have ever been made out of all the condiments.
Well, then we're talking about pie. We're talking about food. Everyone in the chat's hungry.
Me as well.
And we're all ready for Scott. I want you to stay on the line for our next the next trailer for our next Team Key giveaway. James, take it away.
What are we giving away?
We're watching.
We're watching a trailer for the new Steam Key giveaway. We're gonna get our live reaction.
Look at your.
We're talking about pie and sauce and stuff.
It's a food thing.
So this is yeah.
Here we go.
So people are, and this is a lot of stuff is happening in this one. There's lots of obviously could be fun. Make something. Could be
we're building
like
burgers.
We're building
is that lasagna?
building a lasagna here.
And who's that? Who are those people?
I don't know. I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be fun to be able to talk over the videos, but sometimes the videos
We're making
are just,
lasagna now.
they're just
And
so
we're serving the people.
they're serving the people exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So
look at this guy. He
this
looks
is
hungry.
obviously
I think we
a
need
game
to,
about
he doesn't
taking
want
care
a
of
salad.
people
This guy doesn't want a salad.
people caring about each other and making memories out of meat and hams and all the things that we like to eat as a family.
I like when the screens fade in and out and there's kind of like just a transition and you can kind of see all the screens at once like that right there. That's perfect. I have a screenshot of that where Allan is holding the sexual candle holder and my Nespresso, that Nespresso spreadsheet that I sent in is in the background.
And I want to remind people that when we do hit 1,000 followers,
30. We only need 30 more followers, and one of the subscribers will get this. So thank you for bringing that up, Scott, because we're so close to giving this sexual candle holder away to a lucky subscriber. We only need 30 more followers, and following costs nothing, and subscribing costs something.
That's true. Following costs nothing, and the subscribers are already there.
But
we already have enough
subscribers. The hope is that we get to the point where because it's possible, I think, Allan, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I believe that the presence of this thing could be what is holding us back from getting the sponsors that we need.
Because you're saying because there's something so overtly sexual on screen, potential sponsors who are tuning in, they want to sponsor the show, but they see that and they don't want their brand associated with sexuality.
Back to you, Allan. I don't agree with that because I've known people that work with copper wire specifically with plastic coating.
Really?
And they've all been pretty sexual people. So I think that candle holder would be appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you
for
that. Yeah, sex sells. Sex does sell.
Vague Plague in the chat had a question: is that if we ever reach 5,000 subscribers, not followers, but subscribers, will there be a new design? And I think that a new design could be helpful and could actually help to drive a new sort of tier, not a tier, but what's higher than a tier? Level. A new level. Perhaps it could be
a pinnacle.
It could be similar to this in that there's two figures, but maybe one of the fingers is saluting the flag.
If I promise to you, Robbie, if EGI2 gets 5,000 paid subscribers, I will come up with a new design for some sort of a candle holder of your choosing. Doesn't have to be sexual, but it will be thrilling and new and quite beautiful.
But maybe it could be exciting and
Robbie.
edifying, like a gunslinger.
Like an
An old
cowboy.
cowboy, but
Instead of guns, they could be holding candles.
instead of guns, it could be holding candles, or instead of you could have the candle. Could put the candles in the hat, and then you could still have the guns, but maybe it's it's one of these special gunslingers, that have where the guns are part of their arm.
Yes, totally. Where the guns
Possibly
pop out.
We could do like an archer that
Archer.
An archer.
candles.
So I
And
just
he
want
could
to
be-
point
and
out
he-
that Robbie,
Quiver
like
full of candles.
most Americans, enjoys violence and the violent imagery, but has some sort of a natural aversion to sexuality and sexy things. So I'm just noting that, and that's an interesting thing. I also enjoy violence, but I also enjoy sexuality.
Well, Robbie also enjoys oil, and I appreciate that about Robbie.
Well, it's not the oil that I enjoy. But it is and we were going to get into it. It's the clarification process. Because how do you make all that? How do you get all of that matter and all those proteins and fats and solubles to work together in such a way where you get something you can see. You could, if there was a scrim of it, you could see through from on your side I could see you
Through the scrim of oil?
Yeah.
So this is true. There is pretty translucent oil. We're not talking. There are different levels of refined oil. Thank you, jovial jellyfish.
Well, is it refining or is it? I think I like the word clarifying.
Clarifying oil.
Refining. I don't like the word refining. It sounds it sounds trouble. It sounds like a chemical process. I don't appreciate that. I think that the clarification sounds spiritual. It sounds cleansing.
Oil can be cleansing. You can take a mouthful of oil into your oral mouth and swish it around, and it'll clarify the mouth. It'll help with cavities or any sort of mouth disease or illness, oral illness, because it kind of sucks the illness into the oil. You don't drink that oil.
I've
You
heard
spit
of
that
it.
oil out.
It's called polling oil or something, I believe.
Yes.
I actually learned yesterday, believe it or not, that you can use mineral oil to clean your skin. There's two different kinds of mineral oil. There's one is like a harsh chemical. You would take that mineral oil and you would clean. Maybe you would have a small hatchet. You would put like a sheen on that hatchet with mineral oil, or you would take paint off of something, and then there's a mineral oil you can actually clean, like it's safe enough to clean your face with, they say.
And then there's also castor oil, which if you've got an animal, a cat or a dog that's backed up, then you just rub it on that creature's back. Let me get there. Orifice. And it helps to guide it out.
And let's not forget about arnica oil for injuries or wounds or just sore muscles. You rub some arnica oil on there. And Scott, even though you don't play video games, I do see that there is so much value in EGI2 for a viewer like you, for information about oil.
There's so much,
Evil Bad has subscribed tier 1 for 2 months. Thank you for 2 months.
Some video games that I've played, in the past. And as a matter of fact, I do have breaking news, a hot take about some video games. I know a lot of people would probably appreciate. And, a lot of people, if your friends are anything like my friends, it's almost a daily conversation of, what's better? People are always saying, is GoldenEye better? Is Perfect Dark better?
Oh, it's Perfect Dark. Absolutely. It's got to be Perfect Dark, right?
It's perfect. And thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Robbie. Thank you. Because I agree with you. And if nothing, for the sole purpose of when you played GoldenEye with your friends, there wasn't much going on there. There was 3 other people, if you had 3 other controllers, and you could play 4 people on the screen, You had one purpose weapon. If you played Perfect Dark, you could put bots on there. You had so many other people to play with if you were lonely. The guns had multiple use. Like the one gun was a machine gun, and then it was also like a sentry gun. And I just wanted the people to know that if they didn't know, because as we all know, everybody's arguing which is better, and some people haven't played both. And I think the people need to give Perfect Dark a chance.
I think people do absolutely. If there, I believe there is an Xbox Live version of Perfect Dark that's floating around out there somewhere. I think it was part of the Rare Replay package actually, and it came before that. Then they added it to the Rare Replay package. But it's absolutely
Perfect
worth
Dark
playing.
did
It's a
have
fun
golden
party.
gun.
It's a fun party
Squid
game.
says Perfect Dark didn't have a golden gun. It didn't have the golden gun, but it did have the one gun that you could charge up, and it was a one-shot, one-kill. So it was basically like a golden gun. And back to you, Allan. I think you would agree with me.
And back to you, Scott and
Thank
Allan.
you, Scott.
Fruity Spruce says Time Splitters 2 is better than Perfect Dark. I tend to have some. I think there's a case to be made for it, but I won't agree 100%. Scott, that's the news from Pittsburgh. Everyone say goodbye to Scott. We are going to go on to our next caller.
I love you both, and back to you both. Goodbye.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
And thank you for all the news from the Pittsburgh.
Incredible. Thank you so
Absolutely
much,
incredible
Scott.
news. Caller, you're on the air with EGI2. There's no caller.
No.
Great.
Okay, great.
Well, in case you're still following, we are doing the Steam Key giveaway. So the Steam Key for Cook Serve Delicious 2, a massive sequel to the surprise best-selling original, one of the few games that gives players complete control on how they want to build their restaurant.
It looks delicious.
There's a call. There, I heard a voice.
6HR8Q-FBXG7CDT
Y
90.
90.
G.
Now, Joe
Hi, sorry.
Botnick, what's the news from the upper Midwest?
It's good. It's been really windy. Everyone's talking about Dino Crisis since Allan's special report, which I think has been the best special report.
Thank
I know
you.
we've moved
That's
on a
so
bit from the
sweet.
special
Thank you,
report, but I
Joe.
just wanted to say, yeah, I really appreciated it. And Dino Crisis has been so ignored by Capcom, and Allan has now done more for Dino Crisis than the developers have in the past 20 years.
Thank
Like,
you. Wow, that is so sweet.
Even still,
Thank you.
I think
so
that
nice.
somebody. Now I'm recalling some kind of an article, some sort of a published article that was a discussion of the people that had worked on Dino Crisis and went on to work on the Devil May Cry games.
Oh, interesting.
There you go.
And it could be real. That could be just a dream. It could be just a heady kind of collection of thoughts and words. But I'm putting it out there, and people can verify it or not. But Joe Botnick, what I want to know is, are you out there? Are you hoping to get a Steam Key giveaway on this evening? And if you got a Steam Key, would you be able to redeem it on your side of the planet?
I think I probably could. I think they're the same no matter where you are. And I did try and redeem the first one, but I didn't quite make it in time.
Damn.
Nathan Vegetable that got it. He's a snake.
Oh, well, hold on. We don't want to say
Someone's
that.
I mean, a
in there.
snake.
Maybe a good.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with a snake.
Someone snuck in there before me, and that was fine. And then the second one, I held off on it so that someone else could get
So
it.
you're
but-
hoping you're hoping for something. You're hoping for something for yourself. You're hoping to hoist the Union Jack over your own free Steam game, random Steam game.
But you got to make sure that your system is running the right version of Windows.
Exactly.
62, 64.
64. Well, it
depends on the game.
I don't think we don't have. We have. Well, this one we know runs at 1080p with a native 60 frames per second. Oh no, there was a new okay, so Cook Serve Delicious 2, which again was 6HRAQ-FBXG7-CDT90. One of the new things about Cook Serve Delicious 2 was that it now runs at 60 frames per second.
Robbie, how long is EGI2 stream?
So, Joe, stay on the line with us for a second. We're gonna go look at our
Yep.
next trailer for the next Steam Key giveaway game. I think this might be the kind of game that speaks to you and your sensibilities as an Anglican.
Okay, let's go.
What do you mean by that?
Anglican?
What do you mean it speaks to
Well,
sensibilities?
he's a subject of the Church of
Okay.
England,
Sure.
just by default.
I am actually. I do actually live in East Anglia, which is a region in the UK. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's
But why?
a
What,
bishop.
but there's something about this trailer, you think?
There's something about this trailer that says
Joe.
Joe.
Is that what Joe looks like?
It's pretty close.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't see it. Hold on.
There he is at the
Whoa,
bar
whoa.
somewhere in East
Why the-
Anglia, drinking his sorrows away because he missed the last train. He's
What's going on?
Whoa! What the?
What's going on here? Oh my God.
It's crazy stuff. I mean, this is the kind of thing
That
that's
does-
been
does that look like Joe?
getting me that I've been talking about.
This is like how you
This is a
were in
fully-
Dino Crisis.
Fully featured game that's got all these things in it, and I'd never heard about it until it ended up in a Humble Bundle.
Twin Mirror coming soon.
Lots of stuff like this did happen to me. So, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so Joe, this is Twin Mirror. And this is the story. Sam Higgs left his hometown and everybody knows behind 2 years ago. Does this sound familiar?
Yeah.
But the death of his best friend Nick calls the former investigative journalist back to confront the town's troubled past in his own. He soon becomes drawn into a dangerous web of intrigue as all is not as it seems in the small town of Basewood, West Virginia.
And this happened to
Forced to face himself and the townsfolk, Sam struggles to balance the scales of reconciliation and his life-changing investigation. He must decide how much he's willing to risk to uncover the mysteries of his hometown.
And this
Explore Sam's unique and analytical ways in his expansive mind palace, where you can revisit his past, relive old memories, and reconstruct events. And there you can go through possible scenarios, envision how things could have gone, follow the clues to your next lead. Be careful, though, because the mind palace is a reflection of Sam's state of mind, for better or worse.
And this
You can also speak with your double, who is the more social and empathic side of your... He's an empath. Joe, you must be an empath, right?
I do consider myself extremely empathetic, so yes, this is sounding very similar to my own life in a lot of ways.
In Twin
it's freaking me
Mirror,
out.
and that's the name of the game, Twin Mirror, every decision you make alters the course of your investigation, as well as your relationships in Basewood. Trust others or rely on yourself in your hunt for the truth, but no matter your choices, your story is yours. Take a look in the mirror. What will you see?
Wow.
Mature content description.
Oh, wow. And how old are you, Joe?
I am 33 years old.
So you're okay.
So you're quite ready to on your palate. You could take the blood, drug reference, strong language, use of alcohol, and violence.
So maybe if you're in the chat, don't redeem this Steam Key. Let's let Joe redeem this.
I do feel like it's kind of built for me, this game. So yeah, if anyone could just hold off.
You got 30 gigabytes hard drive space.
Do you?
Joe?
Yep, I'm good to go.
We're working from the bottom up.
30 gigs.
30 gigs. You got DirectX
You have
11.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
You got at least you got a graphics card with at least 4 gigabytes. Oh, sorry, that's the AMD 4 gigabytes. So GeForce DDX probably 2 is fine. 8 gigabytes of RAM.
That'll be fine.
Intel Core i3 or AMD Athlon?
I don't know, but it's. Do you have all this, Joe?
I'm not so sure about that last one, but I'm pretty sure I'll be okay.
You got maybe a i3 2100 or Athlon. Oh, Phenom.
Or better.
Wow. How do they come up with this stuff?
I think let me check my system actually.
All right, so everyone just take a breath. Joe's gonna check his system
sounds
and
like
make sure, because this is going to Joe. This is Joe's game. This is Joe's night. He's gotten up early or stayed up late. I can't remember which it is. We go through this pretty much every time we talk to Joe.
It sounds like the stars are aligning in terms of computer specs.
Yeah. So Joe, let's get a readout on what you got there. Bring up your little INI file. It's an INI file.
What is it?
What? No, that's what you bring? You can type in it. Is that what your specs are on?
I think they're in there.
Usually I just type in, I go to the DirectX diagnostic tool. I don't know what the most
Smart.
speedy way
See,
to do
back in
this
the old
is,
day, we
but,
used to have to pick up. You have to use text files to get all this information.
So
You're a young
what
man,
was the
Joe.
DirectX version again?
11.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's do
All
it.
right, so for Joe, let's
is for
let's
you,
count
Joe.
it in the chat. Let's just count them all out at the
Say
same
it in the
time.
chat.
Oh, there's a little delay, but they'll follow along. C
4
J
J
J
D
D
5
K
K
4
3
Y
Y
G
G
7 6
6
C
C
7.
7.
So everybody,
no
we're
one
gonna
do
take
it.
a
No
break.
one redeem it
No
except
one-
for
no one-
Joe.
This is Joe's chance to get the twin mirror on the PC.
I don't think it worked, guys. Hang on, wait.
Should we do it again?
Let me copy it from there. I'll just copy it from the chat. It's okay.
All right.
Okay.
Again, it's C4JJD dash 5K43YGZ 6C 7.
7.
Seems like it said. You
Maybe
said different.
it is different. Maybe I can't get it in the UK. I don't know.
Maybe we're saying
Does
it
someone
wrong.
else?
I
Does
feel
someone
like
else
it's
want to
different.
try? Does someone else want to try it in the chat, and then you'll be able to confirm this?
I don't want anyone
Well,
else to play it. I wanted Joe to play it.
It's twin mirror, right? So maybe the person who gets it can be my doppelganger or
Yeah.
whatever.
So they can be
Oh,
the bad.
they could be the nasty. Yeah, so you
yeah,
could
and
be
then you
empathetic
get to be
side.
the empath.
That could be fun.
So Steam keys out there for anybody. Sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe.
I guess
Damn.
this is that's what
okay,
this is.
that's fine.
This is what Brexit did. I think we can all agree that this is a poorly planned and executed
didn't-
referendum.
I didn't vote for it, but
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
It is what it is.
We all we do believe in the free flow of capital and the ability for people to move freely to work wherever they wish.
I think things
believe
should be
so.
free.
With-
I think they should, back to you, Alan. I think things should be free. I think something someone I really want to bring this up really quickly. Someone brought up in the chat earlier when we were talking about advertising that the sexual candle holder was driving off ads, and then we thought, okay, maybe the next design could have like a gun-toting cowboy, and it was like that would be okay. And we were talking about how it was kind of weird how guns and violence are fine for advertisers, but sex and sexual topics is completely off, and it's just so weird, and I don't appreciate that kind of line of thinking, and I think we should all just be freer in general, and I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you.
Spoken like a true Anglican. Thanks for the
Thank
call,
you, Joe.
and better
Thank
luck
you,
next
guys.
time.
Bye.
We'll try to
Bye.
get some special UK keys for Steam key giveaway for Joe and those of us those folks out
That's a
there
good
on
idea.
the continent or the island. I guess it's not part of the continent anymore. Brexit strikes again. What are we doing?
I don't know.
Okay, let's just do. We got a couple more Steam keys to give away. Let's watch the next trailer, and whoever calls in gets to talk to us.
When I was a
What?
kid, I was
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, caller, you're on the air, but just kind of shut it for a second.
An astronaut, a CEO,
Okay.
a painter, a doctor. I could
I
be
don't see anything.
It's a trailer. It's a
dark.
teaser.
Yeah, but it's dark. Is it a trailer or teaser?
Well, I don't know.
It just looks like I see something. What's that?
You walk into a movie theater, you say, "Hey, what's going on?"
Hey, I want to see it. It's snow. It's just snow.
That's not how you act.
Is it just snow?
We're
Yeah,
all
really
learning
enjoy
about
the
this
trailer
together at the
'cause you
same
guys are
time.
talking over it.
We got Piss rating with a party of 126,
Thank
Alan.
you,
That's
Piss.
unbelievable. And what a
Whoa.
great time because there's more opportunity to give away Steam keys for whatever this is.
If you just joined us now, we're giving away Steam keys. This is a trailer for a game about snow. And if you want to own the game, keep watching.
And things were going to plan.
What is that? It's a dog game.
This is a
Sled. On way.
What is this? Oh, I.
However, things tend to go to plan.
What is this?
Until they.
oh
Whoa, my God.
Good Lord.
Jesus. Okay, this is kind of scary.
Well,
oh wow! Oh my God! It killed one of the dogs.
Oh,
Jeez.
bear.
Christ.
The red.
Now I'm
Lantern.
depressed. Anyway, in Red Lantern, you play as the Musher as she makes the rash decision to start a new life in Alaska along with her new best friend, Chomper.
Incredible.
She assembles a dog sledding team and embarks on a journey to find her new home. Unfortunately, she isn't quite prepared for this adventure. She must learn to adapt so she can take care of herself and her dogs as they try to find their way through the wilderness.
I just
Caller,
wanna-
who are you? Where are you calling from? And what are your thoughts on the Steam Key giveaway so far?
This is Kat. I'm calling from Ithaca.
Kat from
Kat,
Ithaca,
Ithaca
friend
is
of the
gorgeous.
show, back to the show. Kat, are you?
Ithaca
are
is
you
gorgeous.
You talk. You're up there in the mountains. There, you get into the business of tying the dogs up and having them pull you around.
I haven't done that before, but it looks really fun. So I'm really hoping I can type this Steam key in correctly and get this game.
Good luck.
This is Kat's key.
Okay, so
this
everyone
is
in the
how we're
chat-
let's do it this way from now on. The caller gets the key,
gets right of first refusal on the game key.
unless there's a person out there that's this is the battle. This is the eternal battle between good and evil. Kat, you're on the good side. You get first right to the Steam key. But if the evil one
Nice.
comes up behind and snags it from you, what are you gonna do?
That would suck. So I hope if you're out there and you're listening, please don't be evil and let me get this game about dogs in the mountains. Thank you.
But first off, Kat, you're by a computer, I hope.
Can I interrupt? Can I
am
just
by
make
a
a?
computer.
Kat, you by a
Hello?
computer?
I am by a computer.
So let's take a look at the specs there, because we don't want to be giving this to you if you can't run the damn thing.
Okay.
You got Windows 7?
What do I need? Yes, I do.
You got a processor at least dual core 2.5 gigahertz.
I think so.
4 gigabytes of RAM, dedicated RAM, not that graphics RAM baloney.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you got to at least have 1 gigabyte of VRAM in a NVIDIA 9600 GT.
Okay. Maybe I
DirectX
have
version 10 and 4 gigabytes of available storage space.
that. I think so.
All right. Kat,
Mhm.
you got your pen and paper out? You got your Steam
I
page,
do.
redemption page open?
I'm ready.
All right. B7
B7
ND
ND
8
dash
JTLK
A
dash
dash
8
8
T
I
I 8
8
H.
H.
Okay. I got B7N.
The
and
clock
was
is
it a
ticking.
V or a V?
These creatures.
There's a question.
There's creatures.
Was it a-
There's creatures that. It's talking about the clarified oil.
Yeah.
Well, imagine that there's all these little
is so
bitty
scary.
guys, like little rat people.
I thought they
They're
were
size
I thought they were
size of
bats.
toes, made of oil, oily shadows.
I have a small announcement or a small break from the Steam Key giveaway to just say to welcome our new viewers from PISS and let them know that we're quite close to giving away this sexual candle holder. It's made of stone and I make it. And we only need about 26 more followers, and one of our subscribers will get this as a gift. It's a candle holder of it's sexual in nature, as you can see. And we're so close to giving this thing away, and Robbie hates this damn thing. So if you're joining us from PISS and you want to help us out and help Robbie out, follow us. It costs nothing. And if you want a chance to own this object of sexual power, subscribe as well. Thank you.
And if you're
Back to you, Robbie.
interested in giving us the money that you make, you can also try. We can try to keep to bring back the you know what and figure out what happened to Mel Gibson.
Yes, that is right. If you're just joining us from PISS, Robbie told this. We got to a Hype Train 10, and he told this incredible story about this incredible oil. What did you call it?
It was an oil elemental.
An oil elemental that this eunuch couldn't resist.
Because he had done the cannibalism on these kids that went crazy.
He ate these bodies, the bodies of this. They weren't children. They were children, but they grew into adults. And this eunuch ate the flesh of these children who had been touching the oil and enjoying the oil, and it allowed the eunuch to regrow the core member of sexual power.
Not the core.
Not the core, but the
whole. What do you call it when when you add like a bump stock to a gun?
It's like a mod, like a modification, but that's not what this is.
No, but it's he just got it. He got everything back plus some, is what I'm trying to say.
He was more. He ended up being more than he was.
He ended up being more
when the eunuch.
He ended up yearning more than he's ever yearned before, and that was even before he saw
the oil.
The oil, which was named
the oral temptation.
Or no, oral
tradition.
Oral tradition. Thank you, Kat.
Thank you, Kat. So, Kat, what's the news on the Red Lantern? Did you get it?
I did get it.
You got it.
Yay!
Kat got it. The good guys win
good one
again.
Yay! Yay!
And we must always win. We must always strive for victory because we have goodness in our hearts.
Mm-hmm. And thank you to Dead Zed for following and Fonzie Jones for following. We're so much closer to someone getting that sexual candle holder.
And then if we can get the sexual candle holder off the desk, maybe we can get some, so we can have more than just imaginary sponsors like Frame Guide, Mini Gaming Desktops, Bitmap Books, which I don't actually want any money for, I just want copies of books I already own, and Copper Wire.
Yeah, thank you so much, Frame Guide. Thank you, Bitmap Books. Thank you, Copper Wire and Plastic. Thank you, the Red Lantern. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Allan.
And thank you, Kat.
And thank you, Kat, because it's because of the Ithaca was
gorgeous.
Well, I was gonna say it was a Greek town, right?
A Greek town.
Yeah. Before it was in New York, it was part of the Athenian Empire, right?
You get on. Oh, Ithaca. Oh, you're thinking of a different one.
Attica?
Maybe.
No, that's the prison. Oh, okay. We wouldn't want to go there. Kat, thank you for your call, and we are gonna let you go and get to our next Steam Key giveaway. And this is the big one, folks. This is gonna be. We're not taking any calls for this one because we want to have open playing field for everyone out there, because people are gonna want this one. Can you skip to? We're gonna skip ahead to number 8.
Okay. Jeez, there was a lot of Steam keys. Okay, what is this?
People are getting excited about this.
Whoa, wow.
Look at that.
Oh, I feel like I'm falling.
Nuts.
Episode 1.
So this is episode.
Jeez.
You talk about how to make a game.
Look at this. Oh my god, it's fast.
Fun, fast, wild stuff. Absolutely. You can get this for yourself.
And
if
this
you're fast on the
game,
trigger there,
this seems like something you would want to be playing.
It is something, and it's something I already own, which is one of the reasons why it's in the Steam Key giveaway. So people are excited, Alan. People are excited about Dusk. They're excited to see if they can get there. They're trying to get there. We're crossing out Hell Pie. We're crossing out Siberia 2. We're crossing out Cook Serve Delicious 2, which I'm surprised more people didn't really felt like that. Oh, did we even give out the Steam Key for Cook?
I don't know if we gave it out. I think we'll have to.
Chat, did we?
Sound up in the chat if we gave away that.
Yeah, did we give away the Steam Key for Cook Serve Delicious 2 yet?
Someone must have gotten that.
I believe I must have, but
so that's a real game.
Is that was for? So Dusk is
you did.
We did get it a lot. So
we did. Okay.
I just want to make sure we absolutely got it away. And again, the Steam Key for Cook Serve Delicious 2, if someone hasn't redeemed it yet, is 6HRAQ-FBXG7 CDT90. And that's Cook Serve Delicious 2. Because we watched the Cook Serve Delicious 2 trailer again.
Let's just move it along.
No. We're gonna keep people, because people like the Cook Serve Delicious 2 trailer. I want to make sure people that because I don't know if people actually got that redeemed yet. So this is a game where you make delicious food for people that you care about and run a restaurant. So if you were excited about if you're excited about anything I just said,
let's see.
Look at that. I mean, that food looks real.
Is it a photo of food? Is that 3D graphics? Or is that real food? Oh, wow. Let me see that.
Oh, Chunky Flan wants the Steam key for Siberia 2 again.
All right,
So
great.
that is for Siberia 2. That is ER4MA dash GQAM7 dash 737 L9. And that's for Siberia 2, not Cook
But didn't
Serve
someone already
Delicious
get
2.
that?
We got a lot of 2s in this one, but
didn't someone already get
Twin
it?
Mirror. That's another 2, isn't it?
Twin mirror?
Twin
Because there's
Mirror?
two mirrors.
So hopefully
twins.
someone got Twin Mirror. Chat, did we get Twin Mirror?
Did anyone in the chat get twin mirror?
We got that one again.
Well, let's give away the one we were looking. Wait, what the dusk was it?
So Twin Mirror. Did we get the Twin Mirror again? For those of you who was following. I lost.
All right. So
Okay,
thank you
here,
for watching.
Okay,
Thank you for watching
Here's some
EGI
keys.
2.
So it's going to be BFB2B dash 7. Oh, sorry. ZW2FX dash CPFBW.
BW, like the car.
Oh, sorry. That's Rogue Book.
That's Road Book.
Rogue Book.
Oh,
So
Rogue.
that's not.
Sorry, everybody.
God almighty.
Shoot. Let's try that again. It's getting late.
Okay, so it's
FK
QZ
Z. This is dusk. G
BTJ
J
Y
M
2X
2X
VA 8.
8.
Dusk reintroduces you to a world where butchery and bloodshed must be mastered if you're gonna survive till dawn. Inspired by Doom, Quake, Blood, Heretic, Hexen, Half-Life, Redneck Rampage, and all your 90s favorites, while featuring a soundtrack by metal music mastermind Andrew Hulshult. Andrew Hulshult. Is that like? So that's Dutch or Flemish? I don't know. So good luck to everybody.
Somebody got
Sprite
it.
Exploded. Got it.
Congratulations.
On
Congratulations.
Steam. Let's take it. That's a happy day, and let's take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're gonna have the list. But I also want to advise some people that might be considering not staying for the list to stay, because there could be a little bit extra special. I'm not talking there could be something at the end there that people are going to want to see, I think. So let's take a quick break. We'll check in on the list and make sure the list is ready. And when we come back, that'll be what we do. Alan, and all the excitement about all the Steam keys that we were giving away, all the fun times that we're having, in the drama of watching Joe Botnick's dreams get crushed and go down in flames like that. What a hell he must be in right
Sorry,
now.
Joe. I hope you're sound
Joe,
asleep.
And hopefully you're sound asleep. Hopefully you're excited to be to live another day. And next time we're gonna next time we do the Steam key giveaway, we're gonna make sure we have a UK Steam key just for you. But we almost forgot that we got to do It's the Arts, Alan.
Yay!
So let's hit
It's
it.
the arts. Let's do it.
It's the Arts.
What the?
Okay, there we go. Cody from Florida sent this wonderful shot of a vehicle that has been just absolutely inundated with the water that has inundated that terrifying place, Florida, where he and we all know now Matt from Florida.
Yes.
Or Matt from Matt. So it's the Cape Coral boys. And they've gotten themselves into trouble and out of trouble, and I suspect that they'll be into trouble once again with this wonderful photograph, or perhaps it's a really very realistic painting of what I'm assuming is Cody's car.
I'm so sorry about your car.
Stuck in the lake. And they have water retention
Oh, look
ponds
at
that are supposed to- Andrea L. sent us this beautiful
Thank you,
drawing
Andrea.
of the Blue Leader character, who of course brought us many years ago, almost a decade ago or over it
Yes,
now,
yes,
the
quite a long
history
time
of video games live on stage.
Those old
and out in
EGI
the culture,
classics.
and absolutely doing the shows from the warehouses and trying to be in a band when nobody wants to play music with you. But Andrea L. sent in the Blue Leader, and
Beautiful.
we are
Thank you.
The leader salutes Andrea L. Next up, we've got Allan.
Oh.
It's from Kimball.
Hey.
Kimball. So it's, of course,
That's me with the
this is
thing
Allan
when I
is
had
only
dots on my head.
seen in game reviews, EGI 2, 6 to 7 out of 10 game reviews, 1 and 2.
That is right. While I'm when I am doing those game reviews, I do often find myself having little dots all over my head, and so I do appreciate seeing that depiction of me, just like that.
And he's a handsome fella.
Thank you so much. Wow, look at that. There's a
But
painting.
he's taken, and he's not for sale. So we'll get that right off. We got to get that.
No, I'm a kept man. Robbie does keep me on a tight leash, and he keeps me close, and that is how I like it. And we do share our milk in that way.
Thank you for that, Allan. Next up, we've got. 1 second.
Oh, look at that.
Scott from the Pit has sent us in
Scott,
this
thank you,
wonderful.
Scott.
and
What
this-
is that?
This is a futuristic city that that Scott believes, and there was a narrative here that I was trying to recall, but it has something to do with how, in the conversations that we have at the show, with the community, with the chat, with the callers, everybody's here, and we're all moving into the future together.
Oh,
and this is what the future could look like.
A beautiful vision from Scott from Pitt's mind that he's somehow taken from the mind and translated to what looks probably not pen and paper, but maybe computer pixels. Beautiful. Thank you, Scott.
It looks like it looks a little bit like the F-Zero, the Big Blue, or
That's so true.
the city. What's the city called? Forgot Echo.
Echo.
not
What
Big
is that?
Blue.
Echo.
Hold on.
Blue.
It'll come to me.
I got
It'll
it
come to
too.
me.
Echo. Blue. Blast. What
it's
is it?
City. Something city.
Something city.
Echo.
Echo City.
Echo.
Yes.
No. Mute City. Jovial
that's what I
Jellyfish
said.
got it. It's Mute City.
Mute City. Thank
and
you.
Thank you for Jovial Jellyfish for paying attention. And next up, we have one final piece, I believe.
Okay. It's the art.
There's the
wow!
art from
Oh,
Himbo Bosi, and
wow!
this, of course, reminds us all that
beautiful
if you
house.
It's a beautiful. It's the house. It's the house that grew. It's the house from the lake. That was the subject of the story last week. That became a story because we got the hype train going.
We got a hype train. Robbie
ended
told
up
this
ended
incredible
up
story
being-
of this house.
And that is
with
the
an eye.
house that became after the family made love
they
in
did
it.
yes.
The house became a child, and the child became the unifier of the Britons.
Right. Yes.
So not a bad thing for a house to become a
No,
baby,
quite-
for a human baby house baby to become a house. people can do whatever they want to in their private lives, Alan, and,
Yes,
and that's
absolutely.
That's the story,
and we
that's
all
the story
hope,
of the
we
house.
all wish for home ownership, and what a great thing to imagine that something like that could happen to one of our own homes.
And it's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to see these old stories come to life in these old tales that have been handed down from generations to generation to us, and for the folks that we're handing it to make these visual representations of the stories and the narratives.
It's true. Oh, that's like you're drinking the milk from the past, and then you're producing your own milk to the EGI family, who is then creating little little sips of milk
Right.
from their art.
Right,
that we drink again.
But exactly,
so
but exactly.
the milk
so
circles back in.
So what you're saying to me is that all the people out there, all the chat, all the people that follow and subscribe and watch EGI2 are the little mommies, and but we still get to be the babies.
We get to be the babies and the mom. We get to be mommy, baby, milky mommy, and the baby piggy.
So there was one. I wanted to say one thing, that someone had a video that they had made for It's the Arts that we were not able to get on tonight's show, but we will be showing that.
Thank you.
On
EGI 7.
EGI
8.
On
EGI 2 stream 8,
which will be next Monday. But so sorry we couldn't fit it in. But the fact of the matter is that we have to get to the list.
Oh yes.
So let's get it.
It's the list.
It's the list, folks. So list tonight is as follows. This is games, and this is inspired by Dino Crisis, of course. Dino Crisis 2, Dino Crisis, not Dino Crisis 3, but not Dino Survivor, Dino. What was
talking about Dino Crisis?
No, the game that everyone was calling Dino Survivor. It turned out to be another game.
I called Dino Crisis.
And this is so these are games that were made by humans, but where you play as dinosaurs.
Made by humans.
So dinosaurs, and let's get the phone lines open. Let's get the list up. Is the list here? We have the list. So let's see I can't see the list anywhere, but if we have the list, let's see. Oh, now the list is saying that it can't. So we're having some trouble getting the list up and running, but we've got to get to the list. So it's Dinosaurs for Hire is on the list. The old Sega Genesis run and gun game where you play as the dinosaurs for hire. What are they hired for? But for violence, for adventure, and for the camaraderie that comes with knowing that you are a dinosaur who is also a mercenary and willing to take any extreme. If you played Terminator, played on the Sega CD or Genesis or what's Terminator on the Sega CD, Alan?
Yeah.
So if you played Terminator on the Sega CD, you've played RoboCop versus Terminator on the Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo, and I do believe that this goes for both of those games, even though they are slightly different between each of those things that we will that you will recognize Dinosaurs for Hire. Of course, RoboCop versus Terminator. In Terminator, you're not a dinosaur, but in Dinosaurs for Hire, you do play as a dinosaur. It's on the list. Callers, do we have any calls coming in for the list yet? No calls yet. Do we get the number up? Do we get the phone number up for the list? People are calling in for the. Okay, just list is sending me a message that things are still going pretty hinky on their end. So I'll just say whenever you can, list is ready to go on our end, and Jurassic Park: The Lost World is on the list, Alan.
Yay!
Jurassic Park, of course. I'm speaking of the Jurassic Park game that was on the list on the Sega Saturn and PlayStation, Alan. And there were, I think they were pretty much the same game, but of course you can imagine the PlayStation one had better transparency effects.
Sure.
And the Sega Saturn, people didn't think that they were going to be able to pull it off, but they did pull it off.
Yes, they did.
So and now it's on the list. The Lost World Jurassic Park is on the list. I said that one already. Jurassic Park Rampage Edition is on the list because you do play as a Velociraptor in Jurassic Park Rampage Edition on the Sega Genesis.
Hey, it's the
from
list.
Blue Sky
Look, Robbie, the
Software.
list is here.
The list is here. Welcome to the
Yay.
list. Let's get some. People celebrate the coming of the list. The list is here.
Someone's on
Caller,
the phone.
you're on the air with EGI2. What's on the list? Cadillacs and Dinosaurs is not on the list.
Let the
Game
caller
Folder.
let the caller
You don't
say.
get to. Caller, I'm going to get to you in a sec, but we just got to cover this thing because it's not on the list. It's Cadillacs and Dinosaurs on the Sega CD. It's not on the list. Caller, what's going on? What's on the list?
Okay. Are you including games where you play as a dinosaur that acts like a dinosaur, or are you including mascot characters?
Absolutely. If you're as long as you're a dinosaur, anything goes.
All right, then Radical Rex, is it on the list?
Radical Rex is on the list.
On the
So let's hear
list.
it for
Yay.
the chunky little head. He's got a big head. He's got a little chunky body, and he's got a skateboard, and he's tearing it up. Radical
Great.
Rex is on the list. Thank you for your call. Let's go to the next call. Whoever's on the list, whoever's on the phone lines, we got to get to the calls on the list. We got a lot of games. Surprising, where you star as a dinosaur, where you play as a dinosaur.
It's a long
Are
list.
you and what? Turok Rage Wars is on the list. Turok Rage
Great.
Wars,
All the Turok games I would.
because you play the Dinozoid army, and Dinozoids do count as dinosaurs, don't they, caller?
What is it? What's the question? What counts as
Dinozoids, the Dinozoid army from the Turok games, those also count as dinosaurs, don't they, caller?
I believe those would count as dinosaurs.
Because they have the dinosaur DNA.
Robbie, it's Scott.
It's Scott from Pittsburgh. It's Scott. Scott from the pit is back, and he has and he's laying out. He's got the answers that we are requiring for things to get on the list.
It's on the list.
So Turok Rage Wars you're verifying on your end, Scott, that it's on the list.
Well, don't take me at my word, because I'm I don't know the most about these things, but I know that your knowledge is vast, Robbie. I know your memory runs deep. I know that you have probably spent the man hours, put the work in to know the facts that they are dinosaurs. So I take it on.
They're dinozoids.
Dinozoids are dinosaurs, and shout out to Shorts. I don't know if anyone else was talking about this.
Dinosaurs?
The dinosaur. Allan, back to you, Allan.
Back to you.
Allan knows what I'm talking about.
Allan, what you talk? Scott from the pit is talking about the dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs. We had dinosaurs with Robbie, but Robbie was wearing dinosaurs, and I remember Allan talking about this. Maybe Allan doesn't remember Allan talking about this.
I say so many things. It's hard to know It's hard to know what I say when I said it, or who if I said it.
Back to you, Allan. When you're giving out such good content, I mean, it is hard to keep track of those things. But you did make a reference. One of the slides showed Robbie, our beautiful Robbie in a pair of nice khaki shorts.
Yeah.
And you made a mention of dinosaurs.
Oh, dinosaurs.
And I just thought that dinosaurs, like he was wearing dinosaurs.
Okay.
And
oh wait.
And I think that nobody else was talking about
Let me
that.
see.
So I wanted to talk.
So no one
about
else is
that.
talking about this, but I want to
I do
interrupt you
I
there,
do have
Scott,
a photo
from
of Robbie
for a
wearing
second.
Robbie
The
wearing
dinosaur
shorts.
levels in TMT Turtles in Time for the SNES is
Scott,
from
are
Dreams lately.
Scott,
is that on the list?
Are these the shorts, Scott?
Let me take a look at these shorts. Back to you, Allan.
But what I want to know, Allan, is that because I believe that in the Dreams lately is referring.
The thing of it is he was standing with a dinosaur and he was wearing the shorts.
Guys, we got to get to the list. Dreams lately wants to know if
Primal
the
Rage on the
TMT
list?
Oh wait.
The
dinosaur level. I don't think that you play as the dinosaur in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. I think you ride the dinosaurs in that game. Am I correct about this?
Yes.
What about Primal Rage? Is Primal Rage?
Primal Rage is absolutely on the list. It's chock full of all sorts of wild things. Dinosaurs, just the shapes and sizes that you can't even imagine. Textures and kind of everything from dry and scaly and rough to slick and slimy and just easy and hard to grip, Allan.
Yes, easy and hard to grip.
So Primal Rage is on the list, and if you wanted to go even a step further, you could put Primal Rage 2 on the list, which was almost completed, but was canceled almost at the last minute, right before the machines were before the boards were supposed to go out to the machines.
So back to you, Robbie. If I'm not mistaken, you were saying something about so turtles could possibly be dinosaurs.
No, turtles.
I'm not mistaken.
Somebody from let's keep our minds on the.
Now look at this.
On the.
These shorts, they could be pants, but the shorts themselves are made of dinosaur skin.
So they truly are dinosaurs.
So those are dino shorts.
That is genius.
Those are dino shorts.
Now, back to you, Allan. Those are true dino shorts, and those are amazing.
The question was from Dreams Lately was the TNT Turtles in Time game has a level with dinosaurs, and I believe that you ride on the dinosaurs. You don't play as the dinosaurs, and so if that is true, then it's not on the list. Next up, thank you for your call, Scott from Pittsburgh. We do have more calls. We have to keep an eye on that. We got to keep an eye on people are asking about the dinosaur games where you play as dinosaurs on the chat, so we got to keep an eye on that. So we can't let the Dreams Lately stuff go by again.
I don't know if these are short.
Ark Survival Evolved? Is that the game that I'm thinking of? Can someone Ark Survivor? So there's a game called Ark, Allan.
I've heard of Ark. Sure, I've heard of Ark.
It's a survival game. It's a wild game. You build all sorts of crazy stuff. You get into all sorts of trouble and mischief and mayhem.
Yes.
And you don't play as a dinosaur in the game, but you do get to play as a dinosaur if you use a mod.
Oh, interesting.
So what I want to know is, and maybe chat can help us with this question, is that do games with mods get to be on the list? What game does the game where you have to modify the base game to play as the dinosaur? Does that get to be on the list? Mods do not count. That's from Napoleon Blown Apart.
Damn.
Wow, that's aggressive, isn't it?
Robbie, what about that game where it's like a clay fighting game and you're all sorts of monsters, but sometimes you can play as a dinosaur?
The Clay Fighter?
Is that what it's? I don't know.
Is there a dinosaur in Clay Fighter?
Sound off in the chat if there's a dinosaur in Clay Fighter.
Dinosaur in Clay Fighter. I'm trying to think. There's a Taffy Man. There's a snowman.
Oh, I got one.
There's a Viking lady.
I got
opera singer. Hold on. There's Elvis.
Maybe we're thinking of different games. No, Rampage.
Rampage. Yeah, Rampage is on the list.
Oh, okay. Right.
Well, actually, no. Rampage is not on the list because that's not a dinosaur. That's a mutant.
Hey, Robbie.
Next up.
I have one on the list. I have a list. The Mario Odyssey, you put the hat on the dinosaur.
Well, that's a question because I don't think that
you play as the dinosaur.
That's not on the list, and the reason is because you're just playing as Mario in the body of a dinosaur, but he's not the actual dinosaur. The dinosaur is somewhere else.
No, it's the hat. No, the hat is Mario stays where he is. The hat.
Mario doesn't stay where he is.
It doesn't make.
The hat takes Mario into the.
But
the hat takes Mario into the dinosaur's. So
I
where?
Really want to get one on the list.
Where does the dinosaur go? Where is that creature? Where's the mind? Where did it get stuck?
Jovial Jellyfish says, oh no. Marco Lott says Odyssey should be on the list.
Odyssey is not on the list because you are not playing as the dinosaur. You are playing as Mario in the dinosaur's brain, and the dinosaur is still somewhere in there, and you gotta.
Doesn't feel fair.
Keep an eye. It's not fair to the dinosaur.
No, it's not fair to me.
It's not. Well,
it feels like it's not fair to me.
It's not fair. Derailing the list with all your pornography.
It's not pornography, Robbie. It's just nice pictures.
I know.
Caller, you're on the air.
Caller, you're on the air with EGI2. What's on the list?
Hello, Robbie and Allan. This is AB from South Texas on the list. Before I discuss the list, I just want to say, I just want to ask, how old were you, Robbie, in those pictures? You look very young in those dinosaur pictures. When were they taken?
Caller, thank you for your call. We are not going to be addressing the pictures that Allan has collected from his supposedly special report. You know, we thought he was going to be doing a special report on Dino Crisis. We thought we were going to learn about the lineage of the Dino Crisis combat system and how it evolved to become.
We did. I did that.
In the Devil May Cry games, but unfortunately, the accolades and the points system.
I think I did say that.
The grades you could get at the end of every levels. But instead, we got something quite different. I think it opened a lot of our eyes, but we do not consider that to be a topic of discussion on the list.
Damn.
Okay, I heard. Moving forward, I want to talk about a game that I wish was on the list. It's actually a game that doesn't exist. It's a game that I kind of fantasized about. I had a dream about it, if you will.
Interesting.
It was like 10 years ago. I was in high school still, and I was a big fan of Call of Duty Zombies. I was quite good at it. I could kite the zombies around and not get hit. And I played this like all day with all my friends. And I had a dream one night that I was playing Call of Duty Zombies, but instead of zombies, you know what the enemy was? It was dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
I was running around my school shooting dinosaurs. It was very fun. I wish that would be on the list.
So you're running around your
when you were-
school,
when
you're
you were
protecting
playing it,
your
you
friends,
had
you're
to play as
protecting
the
your teachers
dinosaur.
and administrators and the people that keep the public school system running, assuming that you don't go to some.
Or homeschooled.
Well, he said he goes.
Yeah, that's
Public
right.
school?
I was
So
shooting dinosaurs.
It's a union shop, is what you're telling me, and but unfortunately, it's not on the list.
Damn.
And I'm sorry to say it's not on the list because even though you're shooting the dinosaurs, you're doing the best job that you possibly can. It cannot be on the list tonight, AV from South Texas.
Because you're not
I
playing
wish-
as the dinosaur.
Because you're not playing as the dinosaurs, you're playing as yourself. And not to say that you're not a heroic, good-hearted person, one of the best people that we've ever had, I think, on the list. But unfortunately, your dream game cannot be on the list.
Thank you for-
dream deferred.
A dream deferred. Thank you for killing the
calling,
dinosaurs.
but
Thank you for keeping
the
everyone
calling.
safe.
What a dream games, games that you imagined, the games
That'd be a
that
good
you
list.
wish existed. Do those get to make it to the list?
Depends on the
Back
list.
to you, Robbie.
Back to you. Who the hell is that?
It's your good pal, friend of the show, friend of the chat, Scott from Pittsburgh.
Scott from Pittsburgh is back with
How did
another.
that
He's trying to dip his wick back in the.
I think what happened is the previous. I think they were on this shared line, and Scott was on the receiver
Well,
waiting.
the other fella was
and
from South Texas. How did he get from South Texas to Pittsburgh?
I thought they were. Oh, okay.
Scott, what's on the list? We've got Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's Story, Yoshi's Crafted World,
Oh,
Yoshi's Woolly
Yoshi's a
World.
dinosaur.
Yoshi's a dinosaur, so it's on the
Somebody
list.
wants me to mention something. Eraserhead Baby says, tell them about the jumping dinosaur game. Well, Eraserhead Baby, I can't tell them about the jumping dinosaur game because I don't know about that game. But I think I do have a game for the list. And Robbie, I'm going to need your...
Evil Bad says
memory
Yoshi
for this.
Topsy Turvy. Yoshi Topsy Turvy is on the list. Eraserhead Baby, the jumping game. What is it? Let's get more information about the jumping baby.
Dino
jumping
Run.
What is it?
Benny Buggy says Dino Run.
It's called the dinosaur game. Oh, the dinosaur game. The black and white 2D.
Ring,
it's
ring.
kind of it's a platformer.
Ring Ring Primal
And
Rage.
Kind of, I think
Robbie,
is it, and it's kind of it's Scott from Pittsburgh. I want to just make sure that we get this right, but I'm pretty sure that the dinosaur game is actually designed to look like a Game Boy game, right?
That I can't, but I'm gonna need your memory on this one, Robbie. But I remember I think it was Jurassic Park for Sega.
Saturn.
Maybe it was Sega. There was like a ramp. Was there a mode where you could play as a raptor?
There was in the Lost World, Jurassic Park: The Lost World for the Sega Saturn. You could play as a raptor, you could play as a human, and you could play as that most terrifying of beasts, the T-Rex himself.
Yikes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was like Rampage mode.
Dino Eggs.
No,
Shout
I
out
think
to
we're
Dino.
talking about. I think I'm going older than that because I don't think I had Sega Saturn, Robbie. There was a Jurassic Park game I remember that you could unlock a mode, I believe, where you could play as a raptor.
Right. That was the first. That was for the Sega Genesis. That was the first Jurassic Park game. Then they went on. Then Blue Sky Software, the people that made the Vector Man games, Allan, and Blue Sky Software made also the Experts, the Eternal Champions spinoff.
Yes, they did.
So they went on to make Rampage Edition, where you just were able to play as the Raptor from the get-go, and then the Sega Saturn Lost World game was a 2.5D game along the lines of something like Klonoa. Trying to say.
But back to you, Robbie, and back to you, Allan. I just wanted to say back to Jamie one time. I want to thank Jamie for always allowing me to call and my calls to get through. And so just back to Jamie one time, and then back to you, Robbie, and back to you, Allan.
Back to you, Allan, and Scott. It's actually James, not Jamie, but we won't hold it against you because we do love the great city of Pittsburgh. It's no rules, Pittsburgh, and apparently he's on the phone. He's always on the phone, so we'll call it phony Pittsburgh phone, not phony, but phone. All phones, type phones. Get on the phone, Pittsburgh. Get on. So if you're from Pittsburgh and you're watching the show,
The time to call.
Time to call because it
is the time to call.
No
Now
rules,
is the time to
Pittsburgh.
call.
No dial tone, Pittsburgh. That's what we should call it. No dial tone, Pittsburgh.
No dial tone, Pittsburgh.
You're always
Speed
welcome.
on the
Is what
air.
I'm trying to say,
Speed
Scott.
dial,
It's a positive message. It's possible.
Speed dial Steel City.
Great.
And if you like Polish sausages and sauerkraut, then Pittsburgh is a great town for
Dreams
it.
lately calls it Phonesburg.
And Phonesburg.
Phonesburg.
Thank you for your
I
call,
like that.
Scott.
Who
We
said
do have
that?
another caller on the air on the line. Caller, you're on the air with EGI2. What's the news? What's on the list? Is Dino D-Day on the list?
Yeah, hi. Can we talk about Giant Citizens Kabuto?
Giants of Citizens Kabuto. That's a good one to talk about because it's a game with large reptilian beasts. But is it on the list?
Is it?
Caller,
I don't know.
Do they count as dinosaurs when they're in some respects they're just very clearly extraterrestrial?
And then also Giant Doshin.
Doshin the giant?
Yeah.
You're nuts. That thing's
What?
That thing's not a dinosaur. It's a giant yellow Doshin.
Oh no.
It's not games where you get to play as a giant. It's a game. These are games that you play as dinosaurs, not giants.
Big things.
We're opening ourselves up.
I gotta hang up.
We've got
I gotta hang up.
King Kong, the movie tie-in. That'd be on the list, but it's not because you're not playing as a giant. Well, is he a giant or is he just? Where are the lines for these things?
It's very confusing.
It's all
it is a
extremely
really
confusing, Allan.
The list is always hard to understand, but tonight's is especially hard.
I thought it would be easy. These are games where you play as dinosaurs.
But
not
people
where-
get
not
confused,
Not
but
games where you fight the dinosaurs. Not where games where you hunt and kill the dinosaurs. You don't build the dinosaurs up. You don't grow them in like the Jurassic World evolution series. You don't. It's where you actually are the physical thing.
I want to talk about Jurassic Park Trespasser, where I don't know if you play as a dinosaur, but you can look down and see everything. And you just look down, you see what you have there, and you have a little tattoo on your chest, and it shows you how healthy you are.
Trespasser is not on the list, Allan, because again, you're playing as a human being in a world of dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs in that game were extremely well, at least were intended to be next level.
I remember.
I mean,
I remember a lot.
they were able to. The whole thing was that I read an article. The whole thing was that you would be able to see if you could see my hand here, what it's doing. That would be the dinosaur's foot on like a box. Can you get a close up of that? Can we get a close up of that?
I don't think so. Here, why don't I be a box?
Get a close up of that.
Here, how about I'll put my hand up here as a box, and oh wait. Looks like something's happening. Move your hand, or just move your hand, Robbie. There we go.
All right.
Right there.
So that's it.
Well, hold on. It's not.
So
hold
they
on.
spent. They
Wait,
built a
well,
whole
hold on.
game.
Wait for the close-up.
They built
okay.
a whole. Alan, I'm getting to it.
Okay.
It's a long-winded
There
explanation.
we
There
go.
it is. So they built a whole game engine where you could see a velociraptor jump up onto a box, just like in the movies, and you would see the claws go over the edge of the box, the crates.
Yes.
That was it. They spent all their time doing that, and also making those making the chest, the woman's
chest look real.
Yes, so they tried to make.
But it was all for naught because it's not on the list.
No one bought it.
I bought it, but it's not on the list.
But it's not on the list. So, Saurian is on the list.
I asked the caller.
We have a caller.
You have a caller.
Who is this?
This is Visk from Connecticut.
Who?
Visk.
Visk from Connecticut.
Yeah, V-I-S-K. Visk.
Nice. Visk from Connecticut. Are you a trespasser?
I'm not a trespasser.
No, I mean, have you played Trespasser?
I have not.
Sorry, I can't. Did you see the thing?
Your hand?
Yeah.
I saw your hand moving.
Yeah. And can imagine you got Steven Spielberg, you got $1 million, $10 million, $20 million, and you spent all that time making a dinosaur's claw go like this instead of making a game that runs properly on the hardware at the time. It was supposed to be a Dreamcast version of it, Alan, of Trespasser.
Damn.
Can't run that.
No, absolutely not. And it didn't even make it onto the list.
This from Connecticut. What's on the list?
There was an old, terrible arcade game called Dino Rex.
Sounds about right.
Dino Rex.
That sounds like it would be on the list.
Dino Rex. I'm writing it down. What's the scoop of this game?
Literally, it's just different types of dinosaurs fighting one-on-one.
And it's dinosaurs, not Godzillas.
No, like literally Allosaurus, Triceratops, etc.
So you're a kid. You're having a great time. You're walking into the arcade that's in the movie theater there. You're hyped as hell because you're about to go see Jurassic Park. You put your quarters in a Dino Rex and you select actual living or once living, now gone dinosaurs.
Correct.
It's on the list.
Yay, you did it.
Caller, all right, so you got one on the list, Vix. What's next?
Also, you didn't mention you mentioned Turtles in Time, but in Tournament Fighters, you play as the Triceraton, who is a humanoid Triceratops.
It's not on the list. It's a mutant.
Shoot. Dang.
All right, but neither is Kabuto then, because he's not a dinosaur.
What did you say?
Neither is Kabuto then from Giant Citizen Kabuto, because he is not a dinosaur.
Well, well, guess what? I didn't say. I said Giant Citizen Kabuto was not on the list.
Oh, well, I had you muted for a minute.
Well, you gotta pay. You gotta keep your head in the game.
Robbie's usually right about this sort of thing.
It's Connecticut. You know, they're all mixed up.
There's something going on in Connecticut.
What's going on in Connecticut, kiddo?
Nothing good usually. Boredom.
Hatebreed is from there.
If you're bored, you should try to redeem some of these incredible Steam keys.
Oh yeah, there was one more Steam key to give away.
This one's for you.
Caller, this is just for you. No one else gets this Steam key except for our representative here from the great state of Connecticut. That's the what do they say about the Connecticut? What's the state motto there? The Emerald State?
We don't really have much of one. We're just the Nutmeg State.
The Nutmeg State.
That's great.
That's
the Nutmeg State.
Nutmeg State. Check this out. We've got BQCA2F. No, sorry, 5F.
Start over.
BQCA2-5FVV. That's not W. That's two V's. B-CLL9W. And that's for Origami.
It's on the list.
A stealth action game that you can play with up to 3 friends.
Enjoy that, and maybe you won't be so bored anymore.
Or take the
I appreciate
Metro North to the city, or the Amtrak to Boston, and get yourself into a bar fight, or go to art museum.
Yes, go into one of the bigger cities.
Already am in March.
Love to hear it.
Enjoy.
Great state of Connecticut. I used to deliver wedding cakes there all the time.
A lot of love and people getting married. I hear a new voice.
We're looking at the chat right now. We see dinosaur avatars. I don't know if that dinosaur
Untitled
Julia Keon could double the size of this list. Who's that? Julia
Nathan
Keon.
Vegetable.
Nathan Vegetable. Who
Nathan
is
Vegetable?
Julia Keon? Q-I-A-N. Who is that?
Julia Quinn, the author.
Julia Quinn.
Q-I-A-N.
The Adventures
Who is
of
that?
Dino Reek?
I don't know.
Nathan, I see you got a game from the Steam Key giveaway this evening. What was it? What are your thoughts?
The Steam key I got was Hell Pie, and I think that game will be really fun. My wife was wanting to get it, but I think we'll use it through the shared library so she can play it. So
shared library.
Think that we both get the game, really.
So you're into the gross out stuff. You're into being nasty and making a big mess. That's what you're trying to tell us here with your excitement over Hell Pie.
Well, I'm trying to say that I married someone who is, but I don't want to, claim yes or no to that question for myself.
Well, let me tell you something, Nathan, and this is coming from a married person. So it comes from a real place. It comes from a place of collective what I'm trying to say is that when you're just in it together, you're no longer two separate people. You're a unit.
Well, I'm a unit except for when it's convenient to blame someone else for something.
Well, if you think about the game, we were talking about, I mean, Hellpie has this as well with the Nugget, the creature on the chain there. And also, and that led us to talking about Astral Chain on the Nintendo Switch. From Platinum Games, the people that Astral Chain. So marriage is like being in the astral, is like having the Astral Chain. Where you've got, on one side, you've got a cop, and on the other side, you've got some kind of a ghost with lots of angles.
I think of it more of a
And
milk.
you're tethered together, and you gotta what you gotta do is go out into the world and just wrap yourselves around things until they suffer and disappear.
Is that like Astral Chain?
That's what I was saying. That's Astral Chain.
Okay, I think I'm following, but Alan, can you help me out a little bit here?
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Alan, Nathan's in a situation. I think we got to just.
Nathan sounds like Nathan is happily married and shares a love for gross out sort of sicko humor games, sort of 4 a.m. nightmare fuel humor games.
The kind of games that if Hellpie is like a trauma movie, right? In the cult section of a VHS store.
It's not like, I think it's more like one of those kind of, I don't want to dox our former employee, but Adult Swim yucko shows where they just say random sicko crap and just everyone is cracking up because of how like stinky the smell line was. Does that make sense?
It's like it's like a dog. It's a crazy dog. It's fighting everybody and grows up, and it's also a detective.
Yes, exactly. It's a little stinky dog.
But we can't. Alan, you got to be kind, because this is the kind of stuff people are into. This stuff.
Yes. No offense to you or your wife. The more power to you. If you enjoyed it, and congratulations to the team who created Hellpie. Is that what it's called? Hellpie. They did a lot of hard work, and they believed in their product, and they put it out to market, and the free market has decided that it was a hit, I think.
And obviously, if people saw Hellpie in the chat, they got excited. They knew the game. They felt it for themselves, and they wanted it. And there's a desire there. We're acclimating to things. We're doing things that we're doing. Here's the way the show works, Nathan. And I won't keep you on for much longer. But
sure, I do want to get back to the list.
I do. The list is over. I mean, it's still here.
I do have something for the list.
I still see it.
I already went through everything. So it's.
But we didn't say Tekken though, where you can play. There's multiple dinosaurs you can be in Tekken.
Tekken 3 is on the list.
Well, there is Tekken 2 with Alex, if you remember that tall dinosaur. But then there's Gon, right?
Wait, Gon is in Tekken 3. Tekken
Look, Robbie,
2's got.
It's on the list.
It's on the list.
And Tekken 2.
See, and this is what I was trying to get at, Nathan, and is that you can't. Each of us has a flashlight, and we're having difficult. It's what is it? The old parable.
What, you're gonna do a story?
It's 6 or 7 fellers with. Oh no, there's no flashlight. We just got our hands, right?
You have a headlamp.
Nathan. We're all got our hands on the same hard body.
The oil,
which is like an elephant.
An element.
And everybody's tugging and pulling on it, and we're all trying to figure out what it is from our own blind text, but tactile experience. And that's what the show is.
That's what EGI2 is?
The show opens our eyes, and the light shines in.
And I think that we're all learning here, and no one else is talking about this, and I think that's a lot of the problem. That we're bringing to light the real issues, and talking about marriage and how it really is a cosmic astral chain, and sometimes it's convenient to blame your wife for games that you really want to play. But I think that we all really want to both play those games.
Absolutely. And Nathan, that is why it's so important to have these conversations, because otherwise we won't be able to discern who in the chat or who watching the show likes the nasty stuff or not.
Yeah, and I really hope there's no brown words in this game. I think is the main concern I have.
Well,
I got some bad news for you, Nathan.
yeah, I'm pretty sure on a
sick
well,
game like
it doesn't say, but just based on the
On a
recommended.
0 to many brown word scale, do you know where we might be?
No idea, because I didn't redeem the Steam key for myself. I haven't played the game, but I
call back in after you've played it and keep track of those
because
words.
maybe we'll
and let
have
us
you know what maybe we'll do a game we'll do a list sometime in the future where we have a bunch of we'll have gross out games, sicko stuff, bumps and spit and all that kind of
spit.
So it looks like we're coming to the end of the show, Allan. Any final thoughts? Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Enjoy the game. And sorry, I hope we didn't make you feel bad about playing the dumb game.
Best to the wife. You guys are everybody who's married, stay married.
Thank you. Back to you, Robbie.
Manhunt's. Someone's saying Manhunt's on the list. It's not on the list. Oh, they want us to review Manhunt. We'll get there. Allan, any final thoughts before we sign off for the evening?
No, I just want to thank the viewers of the show. Thank you for having such a wonderful hype train and subbing. And I would like to personally thank Robbie for the information he gave me that came in the form of milk that I heard. And I took in the milk, and now I'm going to start producing my own milk, which in subsequent episodes of EGI, maybe stream EGI 2 stream 8, I will be giving Robbie the milk. Robbie will be taking my milk from me, and of course giving me more milk. And I know I take more milk than I give, but I do want to give a little bit of milk back. Thank you, Robbie.
And I do take the milk from Allan when I can take the milk. I give the milk when I can, and I take the milk when I am needing and yearning. And the chat and the callers also give me milk. Everybody is. We're all mommy's babies, and we all get to. We're all mommy's babies. We're all mommy's babies, and we are all gripping and squeezing on things until we get what we need for nourishment.
That's right. That's right.
With that, I guess we won't find out what happened to Mel Gibson, but I mean, I think you could probably tell the demon just
don't tell.
All right. I really want to do. I mean, he really got it. Damn. All right, so go ahead and play the teaser.
Without going into a lot of detail, we made something that looked just like you, but it got out.
So I'm not insane?
Definitely not. This is a completely separate physical entity.
But we do have a hype train going, Alan, so we do have to come back and try and do what we can to finish this dang story.
Four
At
more
this
mi-
time,
4 minutes.
Mel Gibson has, of course, given himself to the creature that has touched him in ways that everybody wishes they could say they want to be touched but can't.
Oh my
and
God.
so he absolutely is torn to shreds, put back together, torn apart again. Every bit and crevice of him is filled and rubbed, and he is absolutely enamored with this with the creature whose name, of course, is
the oral tradition.
The oral tradition. So the oral tradition has had its way with Mel Gibson, and
That's
before
not good.
before it gets any further, before some sort of consummation, any further consummation is had, the creature says, "What'd you come here for, son?" And you know, talk. He's got the, and not to gender, but he says, "Well, the king sent me here because he believed that he could collect enough of this stuff that we could maybe just put a sheen on the whole kingdom, because he's got this big well of oil here,
right? And
we can bring back as many." And oral tradition says,
"Oh, Robbie,
believe it or not, we get to. I want to say to you right now,
hype train. We get 5 more minutes of the story.
Is that I will do whatever it takes to give you as much of this stuff, and you can not only cover your city, but the city next to it, and the city besides that, and on and on and on to the edges of the kingdom, to the edge of the world, because everyone was saying back then that the world was sort of on a plate.
That's so much oil.
The world was a plate, so the oil will drip off the plate and go to the worlds below it, and then those plates, because
the world was a plate.
because Alan, if you think about the old stories, you think about the legends of how we used to look at the world, everything was always kind of like a tiered system. So
yes,
with this particular culture here, with the king, his whole deal, or the priests they would say that we're on plate number 1, and the beings that take care of us are on the plate above us, and their oil drips down. Well, in the situation with the oil, theirs drips down into our plate, but it only drips into certain parts. But what oral tradition is saying is that if there's enough oil for your place, I'll give you enough oil for everything to cover this plate until it drips off into other plates down into the lesser, and this is sort of like Molochs and the kind of you were talking about the bat people, but there's also little termite people.
Okay, so interesting. World building.
People that are sort of not rats, but kind of like more. What are the blind things? Moles. So mole people, the Molochs, mole people, termite people, cat people, and everybody's just going to get our oil after we're finished with it, and it's going to be less clarified, because that's just how, unfortunately, that's how a caste system works.
Right. The finest oils at the top, it drips down to the
So,
lower levels. Okay.
And that's when Mel Gibson says, "Well, does that mean that the stuff that we've got here that you've been collecting, this isn't even the good stuff?"
What, are you kidding me?
Because are you saying that this drip down from above, and we got like the little bits of filth that come from our I guess
the oral tradition is not the purest oil.
Our pantheon is up there, and we're getting the dregs of their oil.
There's even better oil.
So there's
that's
even
made
better, exactly.
And the oil tradition is only slightly not perfect oil.
Yes. And
2 more minutes.
It says, well, and so that's when oral tradition, this big, just highly attractive, highly desirable
Incredible
thing, just a massive wriggling, good stuff, says, yeah, that's how it works. I mean, this is good. The oil that you're seeing here is good.
Wow.
It's good for me. It's good for you. It'd be good for your king. No one would ever know the difference. But that's when Mel Gibson says, well, I can't take it back I can't take it back to the king if I don't know that it's the best that we got. the best that it can get.
What about the arm? He was promised a new arm.
Well,
for this.
that's what the demon says.
Yes. Oh,
But the demon said, and he says, and now I can't
1 minute,
because
20
I had
seconds.
this whole thing. So I found your place. He says to the
1 minute, 20 seconds.
the fun bubble. He says, I found your place because this demon said that if I got through this whole transaction without giving myself,
Robbie!
without giving my body
Oh
and
no,
my
the
whole
hype train got completed. There's another level.
to you,
Well,
then
the story continues. 5 minutes, four or 5 more minutes. Back to you, Robbie.
I could not only would I find your place and bring back all the oil that we need to cover the kingdom and get it all slick and yummy, but I'll get a third arm for all the things, tasks that people with like me would need to do with that time in their lives.
An extra arm.
An extra arm for organizing. If you want to picture yourself, cleaning the house, you got your 2 arms maybe cleaning the house while 1 arm's holding up a book, a nice book you're reading, maybe a book about the current events of why Tom Cruise's jacket doesn't have the Taiwanese flag on it no more, and but now I did it. But here's the thing, he says. This is what Mel Gibson says to
not the actor Mel Gibson, because you're confusing because you're talking about modern actors all the time. You're talking about Tom Cruise now.
No, we're not talking about Tom. Tom Cruise is still Tom Cruise in this story. Mel Gibson just happens to be the name of the eunuch who cannibalized some crazy people that were had turned magic in the rock place, and so they have to. And then because he ate all of them and drank all their crazy blood, he got to.
You already told this part.
He consummated himself with
0% of the so you might need to finish it here. You might need to finish it.
So if in fact it's so he says to oral tradition, which is the name of the oil elemental, the creature with the oil well. Get me up there. What do I got to do? And the creature says, and it's not just a creature, but it's a being. It's a great spirit. It's an elemental. The elemental says, you got to really just run me through the whole 9 yards.
What?
We've been.
Oh my God.
Up until this point, we've been playing bocce ball.
But you already said it was so crazy.
Oh, it was crazy. I mean, it was the craziest game of bocce ball you ever seen.
Well,
but now it's like you've been playing the bowl. You've been on the bowling lanes with no pins.
What?
And now you got to give me the pins.
Oh my God. The hype train is at 0%. So you have 2 minutes and 20 seconds to probably. This might be the last we ever hear of this story.
Mel Gibson does it. He gives
How?
Oral tradition the pins.
How does he do it?
And gets and he says, you know what? I'm going to do this. 1, because I want to do something crazy I'll never forget, and 2, because if I go back the road from whence I came, I'll get my ass kicked by the demon.
The demon.
Because the demon says
2 minutes.
The demon said to me back then that I would be. There was a whole story that happened, and so Mel Gibson absolutely decimates this thing, completely just wipes the floor with this guy.
Really,
unbelievable stuff. There's little bits of everything everywhere. If you catch my meaning.
Yes, I do.
So,
and he's so oily too, so you can imagine how that would go.
What oral tradition does? The oil elemental, he smacks him on the rear end so hard, he flies up into the air, up into the sky, past the clouds, past what we.
You might have to tell more. You might have to keep the story going.
And lands smack dab in what is known to us as what is probably known to us here in our Western society. We think of his head.
Yes,
but back then, when things were a lot messier, and when the realm of the gods and the realm of the people were not so much, it was not so much about reverence as it was just happenstance. So you don't have some omnipotent being that says to you, this is the way to go because I made all the rules.
Robbie, Robbie, the story continues. Okay, you have four or five more minutes to continue the story. You can't end the story. We're gonna be here late into the night if people keep giving us little bits and bites. And I'm so excited to find out what happens in the story. And I do really have to pee so bad, you guys.
Okay, so we're already 44%. So they get to so he gets knocked up by his partner to the upper plate.
The oil elemental is now the Mel Gibson's partner and slaps him up.
He gives him a lift. He gets to the place, and it's just beautiful forests, verdant fields. No one's got clothes on.
Wow, this is a great story.
It's like a Bosch. It's like the left hand or the right hand side of the Bosch painting.
I understand.
But worse. I mean, not worse in that. I mean, like you can't. If you were there,
you couldn't paint it if you tried.
You couldn't paint it. It's just too much. There's just everybody's completely, fully there.
Oh,
They're
like
just and they've got a well of oil like you would not believe, and everyone's in it. See the oil that that we had down on our plate, which is our sort of our tier within our level.
Yes.
It was made up. It was refined. It was clarified. It was made up of corpses and dead plants and the drips of the good stuff from above. But it was still, they worked on it and they made it nice, but it wasn't good enough. So Mel Gibson sees the real stuff, and it shines, and it's got a glistening element. It's got a glistening surface.
It's like iridescent sort of glisten.
Oh, there's not
you
words
can't describe it.
It's
I
just,
shouldn't try.
I mean, almost if he weren't already so, if he wasn't so tired from all of the work that he had done with oral tradition,
right,
then he probably would have just his head would have fallen off and rolled on the floor.
Oh my God!
I mean, this is good stuff.
This is incredible.
And everyone that's in it is just wildly desirable. This is and so what, and they take one look at Mel Gibson and they say come on over, we're having a great time. We want you to get in the situation with us. There are no rules except have fun, communicate well, and we'll take each other to places that you've never experienced, that you've never expected you would go.
Wow.
And Mel Gibson,
2 minutes, 10%.
At one point, don't forget that Mel Gibson was a eunuch. He lived a monkish life. He lived a life of intellectualism, and he lived.
And all of a sudden, he's fully back, and now he's had this wild experience, and now it's even getting crazier because now there's this whole society of kind of erotic, crazy people. This is so I can't even imagine. It's hard for me to even imagine.
And Allan, you're like that. They're also quite large.
They are. They're bigger people.
But not giants, but probably 9 to 10 feet tall.
Really?
Yeah. So everyone's, and they got the heads, and like the statue of David in Florence, like that kind of look.
Yeah, I can't believe you're telling me.
But better.
This. Wow.
I mean, a lot better.
Jeez. 1 minute, we need 5%. 5% to keep the story going.
If we
1 minute, 5%.
But he's getting tired. He's not only one, he's tired.
Me
Two,
too.
he's new in town. So
right.
everybody's bored with everybody else. So
right.
he gets it.
Fresh meat.
He's gonna get it.
Oh
and
no.
He gets it.
4%.
And they all pick him up and they dip him in the oil and they move him around and they pass him between creatures and on top and below. And he's just a wreck.
Yes.
By the nightmare. And that's when he says,
Robbie!
Oh God.
Yay! We're on level. We completed level 4. We're moving to hype train level 5. The story continues for another 4 or 5 minutes. This will probably be the end of the story of.
And
unless you keep paying
seeing
for
some people
for
saying that this is a dirty story. That this
It feels like it.
That this is an adult film. This is a wholesome. This is like the Brothers Grimm. This is just something that it exists out there to teach us a lesson, and all I'm doing is relaying it to it. I'm not pulling any punches. I'm not doing any kind of editing because I think it's an honest story. It's the truth that these people lived through when they were.
I have to pee.
Okay, so let's say that one night Mel Gibson snaps.
Oh my God. Oh, he's been there for many nights?
He's been there for. Getting to that. He's getting the full business.
Jeez,
Everybody's
getting
taken.
tired.
Everyone's got stamping their card. Everybody. It's a who's who. His body is a who's who in this place. I mean, who's got him? Who's got him next? Who's had him again? All this stuff.
They go again with him.
So he gets sent up to the big guy, the
Who's
big
that?
fella.
Who?
Well, he's sort of like kind of like a light, just a big shiny light.
And how big?
I don't know. It was probably like 15 feet across, all sides, like a hard circle.
Oh my God.
But just shiny and
God.
a nice fella. And he says, Mel Gibson, I've been watching you since the day you left the King's Court on your quest to get all the. I mean, just not forget that this is a quest to get enough oil to cover the kingdom.
3 minutes.
And shine it up for everybody.
We're at 30%, 40%, 45%, 46%, 47%, 3 minutes.
To say that it's yummy enough to eat.
Yummy enough to eat.
Like a candy land.
Damn.
So the King's, so Mel Gibson is up there and he says, yeah, I've been doing it, I've been living it, it's my life now, and I can't, and I know that you, as the light at the center of this whole thing, have some extra powers, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm tired of being used like this. At first I liked it, and then I loved it. And then I couldn't get any more of it.
Wow.
Or I couldn't take any more of it.
It probably hurt too.
Now I feel like I might be having a bit of a break here.
Yeah, too much of a good thing.
So if I could just take just like a axe, like one of these big axes that you have, because of course in the middle of the room with the light, there's just weapons.
Really?
Sharp as hell.
What's that about? 2 minutes.
For 9 to 10 people, for 9 to 10 feet tall people, big weapons. And
you might have to finish the story. 2 minutes to finish the story.
With all of these people's cell. He's DNA he's half nuts.
Who is?
I mean, not the dirty, not to be. He grabs. So he says, "Can I borrow?"
Mel Gibson does.
Mel Gibson says to the big light, "Can I take your biggest axe?"
What's he gonna do?
And take my revenge.
Oh Lord.
So he grabs the axe off the wall.
Shut up.
The light says, I can't tell you not to do this because honestly, I've been tired for a long time and these people are annoying.
Right.
They're all perverts.
Yes, I figured.
I mean, that's what the light says. I got no judgments. But do what thou wilt. And that's where that phrase comes from. Do what thou wilt.
I have heard that, so I didn't know that's where that came from.
And he takes the axe and he cleaves every single one of these giant, beautiful people.
Oh, he kills them.
He kills every single one of them.
Jesus
The
Christ.
blood is.
These are people he's taken in as lovers.
The blood. They take
46 seconds.
Oh. I mean, it's all consensual.
Yeah,
but
I thought you said
he's sick of it.
40 seconds at 48%.
Why wouldn't you be sick of this kind of business? So he kills all of them. He turns out all their blood is the oil. They were doing all their stuff in their own blood.
68%, 30 seconds.
He cleaves it. After the bodies.
20.
He takes
25.
it to all the creature. There's like a servant class of things.
20 seconds. We're at 68%. We're so close.
They're kind of like
18.
They're kind of like big seahorses.
15.
And they sort of serve.
You better
at
end
the
it.
pleasure.
13.
The serving at the pleasure.
11.
So he kills
Get ready
them.
to 10.
They help him
9,
refine the oil. He goes back
8,
down to earth.
7.
And it turns
6,
out
5, 4, 3. You got to finish the story. 2, 1. Okay.
And it turns out that while he was gone, there was a big war, and everything was wiped out. His whole kingdom was gone. Everyone that he knew was dead. All of his friends, the king, the whole story was that when you're distracted by,
this is the moral.
This is the moral of the story.
Thank you so much.
Don't let your regrown urges take you over. Otherwise, time falls apart and you're left alone.
That was incredible. Thank you. Thank you to the community for allowing us to finish that, allowing Robbie to finish that story, and allowing me to take the milk in of the ending of that story. And that moral will go to my heart.
Good night.